that is to say it is randomly generated. Once you hear the name that you signed up under called aloud, you can line up in any order on your left-hand side of the council chambers. And if you could let us know which items you'd like to speak to and whether you'd like general public comment at the beginning, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Members of the public and members of this council, just a quick note on the lights. These lights are new energy efficient, environmentally friendly lights, so they're being tested. So your opinion is valued with regard to the new lighting.
Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
What's up, dirty dog?
What up, everybody?
Joel Frederico, Pat Ashby, Mark Smith, and Kristen Peterson.
And as we wait
Just
for
in
those
time to
speakers
start.
come up to the podium, one final instruction for members of the public. After you're finished providing your public comment, you can actually just do a loop. So you'll enter on your left-hand side, and when you're finished, you'll exit on your right-hand side. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. My name is Joel Frederico. I am submitting a general comment on item 23, the Palisades permit fees.
So you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
1 minute. Thank you for taking my time. I am a board member for the Lower Woodies, and I represent a community of 36. In our community, we have many members, more than 36 people, it's 36 units. And we have many members that aren't insured, are underinsured. We have members who are on fixed income. I'm 40, and
Thank
I'm
you, Ian.
at the very young end of the spectrum.
Oh, it's that guy.
And we are trying to rebuild. It's tight, it's tough. Every little bit helps. Permit fees are on the scale of grading and backfilling for us, on the scale of our plants, on the scale of our driveways and our walkways, and I'm here to ask for your support. Any little bit helps as we're trying to rebuild, and I thank you all for your time and your support.
Next speaker. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Yes, I'd like to speak to item 23.
Okay, so item number 23 is not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during general. So you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
General, yes. My condominium and those of 5 of my neighbors were destroyed by fire. One recently died. His frail condition was worsened by the loss. Condominium and townhome owners represent one of the least affluent and most vulnerable segments of our community, but have been excluded from the fee waiver proposal. A high percentage of us are retired, on fixed incomes, and underinsured. We all vote, we pay taxes, and are entitled to the same recovery resources. We've lost everything we've owned, heirlooms passed down through generations, and items too expensive now to replace. We suffer daily, not knowing how long we will be displaced while our HOAs struggle to navigate a complex rebuilding process. We asking you to please re-include us in the proposed waiver and pass this important initiative. Thank you very much.
Before the next speaker begins, I would like to call up Lee Ann, Crystal Polines, Patricia Borgeson, Roseanne Landay, and Vienna Noel.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. An issue with the contact. Turn up the volume.
Can we get the wireless microphone turned on, please? Test.
Yeah, testing.
Yep,
You hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I assume all items in general public comment?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general.
Okay, I'm going to start off with number 1, our fire department, right? Like I feel we don't treat our fire department well enough. We don't fund them well enough. And when like fires happen and stuff, and then they're also thrown under the bus when it's like the city that, you know, really makes all the decisions, or their mayor and stuff, and then they get, so I'm here to stand up for the fire department, tell you to please make sure they're fully funded. It's not fair that they have to sell merch and baked goodies to make ends meet. Used to be able to fund them. Instead of funding, I see you funding a lot of other stuff that could be, you could find funding in other ways, right? And like, say like the ice rink, right? Why not have Disney or, you know, the Olympics or something fund the ice rink? Okay, and yeah, and as far as the lights for the Dodger Stadium, yeah, I think that's a great idea. But, you know, why not have the Dodgers pay for it? I think they can afford it. We can't, right? We can't even pay for our fire department. And, you know, I know Smoke and Scan cannot call in and, you know, and voice, you know, the whole entire Smoke and Scan family can't call in and voice their opinion yet, but it's coming. But I think, you know, they would agree to this, that, you know, other entities could come and help pay. They have money. The Dodgers have money. The Olympics has money. They all have money. So why are you robbing the fire department to pay for an ice rink? That's just my question. And as far as the lighting ones, yeah, we need lighting. I don't know why there's all these protests to lighting. We need lighting. I've had a couple of accidents because I can't see at night. You know, so please continue with the lighting. Now, I forget, because it's been so long, when it gets to the 1 minute, is that my public comment, Mr. City Attorney who's not listening? You always listen. You're always calling me off topic. Okay, I'm going to talk off topic. I'm going to talk on number 35. Okay, so number 35.
So item 35 has been referred back to committee.
Okay, so is this my public comment time? If so,
You're still on. Wait.
I get so lost. You guys, it's so confusing.
Go ahead.
It's a shit show here. Everything is this run by DEI.
I want my public comment minute.
Nothing in this world.
Are you moving to general
Nothing
public
on
now?
this planet.
Then please finish your comments.
Ran by DEI is good.
Sometimes
Nothing.
you do it all together. Sometimes
Tell
you
me,
don't.
show
You
me.
guys are so confusing. I wish you could get more systematic like that.
Show me the successful
I'm still saying
DEI
no
company.
To anything that, you know, I know 35 you say we can't talk about, but anything with Mr. Lee, until I get my apology, it has to be a no. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Right, Mr. Lee?
That's it.
And, well, anyway. But when it comes to the lighting, I don't understand why there's protests. We need lighting. Can you provide lighting? Okay, like instead of an ice rink, I'd rather have lighting.
Light.
Instead of a
Fight for
you know,
light.
Dodger Stadium lights going up on City Hall, I'd rather have a fire department that's fully funded. Things like that. The little things in life. You know, a fire department that's funded and lights. You know, like those things would be very helpful. Okay, I'll just switch to public comment.
Thank you, Ian, for the gift of sub.
General public comment. You have 1 minute.
Welcome,
okay,
Dirt Fan, courtesy
I want
of
to ask
Ian.
questions about the parade that happened the other day. I want to know why the Scientology, with their balloon that falls every year, I mean, even the balloon is like, you know, they don't stand up. Why they had like 20 cops surrounding them as if they're the president, as if there's like high-level personnel, you know, whatever.
Fuck
I want to know
Scientology.
why you're spending money and the resources like that. How expensive is it to have 20 overtime cops for for how many hours of this parade that, you know, that you're wasting on it? Like, I want to know, like, did they say they're under threat? Because I want you to know that Scientology, there's not been one incidence of any protester assaulting any Scientologist here in LA, but we have at least about 12 documented cases where the reverse is true, where protesters have been attacked by Scientologists. So if you're going to have all this police protection, it should be for anyone who speaks up against Scientology. They're also harassing everybody online.
Speaker, your time has expired.
Thanks.
Next speaker. Good
Hi,
morning.
my name is
Shout out to
my name is
Anna
Pat
Noah.
Ashby, and I've lived in the Palisades for 60 years. And I don't need to tell you any more than what I had emailed all of you, that we need your help.
Good
We
luck.
need the maximum help.
Good luck.
Okay? We do not have the ability financially to build back to where it was. But given the limited amount of time, and I hope that you do read what I had sent to you. So that's got my numbers and breakdown and this and that. But again, with the short time we have, I just want to say thank you to Tracy for going above and beyond. And
So you're begging for help, but you want to thank Tracy for doing nothing for you. Got it.
and
Got
with
it.
that
You still
said,
need help, but Tracy did so much for you. You
by
still need
getting
more
the
help, though, right?
and waiving
Yeah.
those permit fees and the plan check fees,
I got it.
it not only helps us, but it helps the city. And the thing is that Pacific Palisades is not just some exclusive enclave. It is your city too, and your town. And I would hope that you would take pride in helping us like Tracy does. Thank you.
Don't worry,
Next
sir.
speaker.
You won't be able to build your house back. They'll throw some low-income welfare baby
Good
up
morning.
in your
Which items
place.
would you like to speak to?
Hi,
Have a good day,
General
sir.
Comment and 15, please.
So
Crystal Polinas.
you have 1 minute for general, 15 that is not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during general. So you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi.
Could I get 1 minute for folks to be able to respond to that?
Would you like to request it to be reopened public comment? We can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay. Apologies. Item 15 is also open for public comment.
Now
So
you
you have
reopen
1 minute for the
item?
item and 1 minute for
Sheep.
general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Crystal Polinas. I live in Harbor City with my mom. I've lived in the house for 47 years, and they want to build an RV park on the same street we live on.
I bet.
Council members, Harbor City and Wilmington are both below the medium income level.
Yes,
Our
they
neighborhood is a mix of 45% condos and 55 single-family homes, a diverse working-class community that deserves the same safety and dignity as any other part of Los Angeles. Yet both RV parks built here were approved without any of the required Title 25 facilities. No restrooms, no showers, no laundry, and no ADA access. These are mandatory buildings for dependent RV spaces, but our communities did not receive them. So I need to ask a fair question. Would this have been approved in a higher income neighborhood? Would an RV park in West LA or Studio City ever be allowed to open with 0 restrooms or showers for its residents? Our community deserves equity and inclusion in how the city enforces health and safety laws. We ask you to remand this project and require the same standards here that we would be enforced anywhere else. Thank you.
Answer your question, ma'am. No, that would not happen in Beverly Hills. Absolutely fucking not. They understand it brings riffraff, and they don't want the riffraff. That ruins property value. So no, man.
23. First
It
of
would
all,
not
we
happen.
thank our beautiful and lovely Tracy Park for her support in our community in Pacific Palisades. We support her and the ad hoc committee in their effort to pass item 23. I'm 80 years old and my husband is 84 years old, and we
Look, he's
lived
right
in our
there.
home for 48 years. We lost
I miss him.
everything like many of us.
Well, he looks tan.
I support
He
that
been
you
on the beach?
give us this waiver of the permit fees, not only for single-family homes, but for condominiums and apartment owners also. Many fire survivors are underinsured. We, at our age, would love to rebuild, but having been underinsured and hopefully to pass these fees would be a great support for us and enable us to rebuild. Please consider this.
Good morning. Which
Good
items
morning.
would you like to
Roseanne Landay, public comment, but reference to the fees and the fee waiver for the Palisades.
Okay, so 1 minute. Go ahead.
Please amend the fee waiver ordinance to include the affordable housing of Pacific Palisades. Condos, townhomes, mobile homes, and small apartment buildings. And please pass it. Rebuilding these homes is essential for preserving the diversity of our community. In my building alone, 2/3 of my neighbors are senior citizens living on fixed incomes. Others work in essential fields such as education, healthcare, and caregiving like me. More than half of my neighbors are widowed or single women. We're not wealthy tech millionaires and movie stars. We're just like many of your constituents. Not only are we paying mortgages and property taxes for homes that no longer exist, but also HOA fees and now rent. The fire didn't just destroy our homes and our possessions, but everything. There is clear precedent with Northridge earthquake. Eliminate these taxes on our recovery and let us come home.
Before the next speaker begins, I would like to
Funny,
call
DJ.
up Michael Ackerman, Katie Herman, John Ale, Sue Cole, and Kim Fetter.
Katie Herman.
Good morning, Speaker. Which items would you like to speak
Went
to?
from Dana to now Katie.
Agenda number 23,
Katie Herman.
please.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Oh, sorry, number 23, please.
Okay, so you have
About
1
the
minute. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So until January 7th, my husband, myself, and my 2 boys lived in Pacific Palisades. We had just renovated our house. We spent all our savings renovating our home, and then a month later, it burns down. We want to rebuild. We want to move back home. But between the engineering fees and the architect's fees and permits just add another layer to that. We really want to move home. We want all people to be able to move home. So I agree with the condos, the HOAs, over 110%. Everyone should be able to move back home again. And permit waivers really, really would help with that process. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much to Tracy Park. She's amazing.
So yes, you're so amazing, but we still have permits and all this shit in our way, mate. We're just gonna kiss her ass, and everything else is still in our way.
I live on the El Medio Bluffs.
She's doing a fantastic job, mate.
Our neighborhood was decimated. We have so many seniors, so many homes from the early 1960s where people have lived there for decades. And we are asking for your help. I would like all of you to think of CD11 if it were your district and you lost 6,637 homes in your district. What would you want from each other? Can you walk in Tracy Park's shoes? She is pounding the payment. She is fighting for us.
Liquor cunt
She is
already.
there every day. It is unimaginable how hard she is fighting
And
for
nothing
us.
has gotten done,
And it
ma'am.
is ethically correct.
We're 10 months into this.
To give us a start out of the starting gates. I have so many
Start out of a starting
seniors
gate.
in our neighborhood who just can't get out of the starting gate, and this is what is going to launch them and get them started. And long term, you will have tax revenue from Pacific Palisades for decades and generations to come.
Why? They can put their low-income
speaker
voter base in
for
there
members of the public,
and
I
get
would
you the
just
fuck
ask
out of there,
if
man,
when
while
you
you
get to the
thank her.
podium, if you could let us know
Idiot.
which items you'd like to speak
All
to.
you dummy
and
crats
whether or
deserve
not you would
everything
like
you're
general
getting.
public comment, I would appreciate it. If not, then it
Vote
would
dummy
default to
crat.
1
You
minute
won't
for
get your
general
house
public
back.
comment. Good morning. Which items?
General comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
So let's look at your favorite law in the whole world, which is Council Rule number 7. It says that public
11
comment
months,
should
sorry.
take place at the beginning of meetings, yet each Friday the public is forced to wait through 2 hours of presentations
Erica.
and proclamations before speaking. This happens because neither you nor the attorneys actually care about the law. Maybe the attorney said that's not actually what the rule means. Actually, it is. Maybe someone told you it is only a minor issue. That's not for you to determine, and it's not for the attorney to determine. It's for juries to determine. But the people who are supposed to put questions like this in front of juries aren't doing their jobs.
No.
Elected officials like you are supposed to be the ones who provide oversight, so please ask the governor to have investigators from the National Guard look into public misconduct here and elsewhere.
No, it's a DEI circus. It's not even about hiring good-looking ones, Big Rodney.
Good morning.
That's
Which
not what
items?
even it's about. It's about getting every one of the colors.
Go ahead.
We ain't got one of you. Get over here.
I am the president of the Pacific Palisades Community Council. I am not speaking for them. I'm letting you know that only so you understand that I hear from hundreds, thousands of residents. I'm
didn't feed
speaking
you.
for myself personally today. I'm a senior. My house burned down, as did pretty much everyone I know, lost everything, and have been working my entire life and have now been forced to take retirement savings to help pay to build back a house. I have no desire for a new house. I love my old house. Funky as it was, I would take it any day of the week. So my request to all of you is to please,
Nice, Blake.
please put yourself in our shoes and try and think what it would feel like to have lost everything you've ever owned in your whole life, be underinsured or uninsured, and have to build back. Thank you.
Thank you for not thanking any of them, ma'am. And hopefully you get your house back. Fuck the other ones. I want to thank these dildos.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes
Keep
for the
thanking
items
them.
and 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Yo, 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 everybody, back. Yeah, fucking public safety, motherfuckers.
Let's go.
The budget and finance for LA Fire Department that burned your motherfucking houses down in Palisades. Too fucking bad.
Which item are you speaking to?
Motherfucker, you know what item on, double G.
Actually don't. Which item?
251041 for the record, motherfucker.
You said 25?
Bitch, 25-1041, motherfucker. You not here? Smoking scam.
Okay, I'm going to ask you politely one more time. Which item are you, which number are you speaking to? I'm going to move you to general public comment.
Item notice for public hearing, number 1, parentheses, 25-1041, public
Gotten
safety
into his
budget
time.
and finance committee's report, Los Angeles fire criminals, physical fucking year 24-25. Am I in the right subject, motherfucker?
That's fine. Just say item number 1 next time. Go ahead.
All right. Fuck item number 1, motherfucker. I'm the sole vanguard to save your burning bitches' yards and burning bitches' hillsides, because I'm a fireman. But too bad. You should have been here complaining and whining about this shit all along, right, Smoking Scan? But where were you motherfuckers when they're not giving permits to rebuild due to the fire? Why didn't you fill up the reservoir with water, motherfucker?
So this is not on topic for item number 1. You've also exhausted your 1 minute.
How about number 38, sir? Can I go to 38?
I go to 38.
Hey, fool.
Hey, fool. I'm fool.
Hey, fool. 38?
You can speak to 38.
Hey, how come she has a folding chair? Everybody else has like a nice rolling chair.
How about this one?
That's
Blue
racist. They give the
Bloomfield
black
34.
woman
Item
a
34
folding
at
chair.
CD
Racist.
13. Goddamn Bluefield Reseda skate facility. Fuck skating. Let's rebuild Palisades. How about 38, like I said before, regarding the goddamn motherfucking Soto Martinez and the fucking service for Council District 5, motherfuckers? What about it? Well, we're gonna transfer appropriate fucking funds to the fucking street furniture fund when we can't even get fucking street services under 311, motherfucker. And my permit to build fucking housing with the authority of Bureau of Street Services,
This has nothing to do with item 38. Item 38 is funding for tree trimming and maintenance services.
Yeah,
So
I'm getting
please
there.
stick to the item.
I'm on section 2 of that paragraph, motherfucker. Let me finish. Do you mind? I'm on the second paragraph. It says authorize any new instructions,
Stop and
dickhead
fucking them.
attorney, in order to effectuate the
That's
intent.
not appropriate.
Stop interrupting
Can we hold
him.
this time at a minute? I'm letting you know as a courtesy, you had 4 minutes total. Normally we separate it out into general and into the...
He knows,
public comment on the
motherfucker.
items. So you're about to go into your general public comment, starting now. Go ahead.
Who combed his hair?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Who did it?
Today in the federal court as Judge David O'Carter, representing you, the public, you dumb fucks, taxpayers, and homeowners.
Mr. Herman, this is your opportunity to address the body, not
This is
members of the public.
non-agenda public
yes,
comment,
but it is your
Grove.
opportunity to address the
You
body,
continue to
not
slap
members of
me
the
by
public. So this is your
anti-slap
last warning.
enforcement.
Address the
You
body,
are
or you will forfeit the rest of your
preventing
speaking
me
time.
from discussing what Judge David O'Carter told me this morning at 9 o'clock in that courthouse about you criminals, your corruption with housing, motherfucker.
Let's go.
So stop fucking with my time, stop fucking with my mind,
That's it.
and stop fucking with my interest in the public. We the people tell you what to do. We the people tell you how to do your job. We the people tell you, fuck you.
That's it.
42 U.S.C. 1983 politely. On the color of all, 18, 242 and 245. For the record, fuck you, Grote.
That's it. Fucking
And your time
pumpkin
has
head.
expired. For members of the public, we
You
appreciate
fat
your
pumpkin-headed
patience.
fuck. Shut up.
And
I'm
just
going to
to
talk over
clarify,
you
the
like you
ladies
talk
used
over him.
again,
Go
the
fuck
public
yourself.
comment
Go eat
period
another
is
dog,
your
you fat fuck.
opportunity to address the 15
I don't know who
members around
combed
this
your hair
country.
today, but
It is
fuck
not
them
an
for
opportunity
combing
to
your
grandstand
fucking
and
hair.
address all the
Nobody
members of the
gives a
public.
fuck what you got to
Apologize
say.
For what was
Nobody
said.
cares. Go
We
stick
appreciate
another
your
fucking
continued
ding dong in that fat
Good morning.
fucking
What
face of
item would you
yours,
like to speak to?
motherfucker. Nobody gives a fuck. How did you pass the bar?
Oh, okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Council, I'm
Fat
John
fuck.
Alley. The city should not exploit nor profit from our loss in the Palisades. Revenue from permit fees should never have been considered in the first place because of fires, destruction, erasure of family histories, banishments were due to neglect and incompetence of the city, DWP, gas company, and mayor. Permit fees to rebuild what we had and lost in the Palisades were never included in any year's budget as expected revenue source. Permanent waiver is key to my family and thousands more. Property taxes from the Palisades have subsidized services throughout LA. Now there's delay in rebuilding.
Me too,
There's a
BJ.
gap for any middle-income families between their insurance proceeds, if any, and actual cost to rebuild. Many middle-income households don't have an extra $60,000 to $100,000 on hand
Right,
for
on that beach
permit
coffee.
fees. Show compassion, be fair.
They're not compassionate. They're not fair. They're
Next speaker.
communists.
Before the next
And if you
speaker
didn't
begins,
suck
I
their
would like
dick
to
or
call up
lick their
Lisa
twat,
Solomon,
you ain't no
Kathy
good.
Locker, Susan Collins, Roseanne Landay, and Louise Curlin.
Susan Collins. Wasn't that blonde chick that was famous for a while in the 80s with the spiky hair?
This was on item 23.
Wasn't that her?
Do I
So,
have-
so item 23 is not open for public comment.
Maybe
as
it's
public
Susan
comment
Solomon.
was heard at committee. So you had 1 minute for general public comment. That being said, if anybody would like to provide additional public comment, or if we cannot get to you today, you can always do so in writing at lacouncilcomment.com. Again, that's lacouncilcomment.com. You should be able to find that either via a quick Google search.
You don't wish to
or
waste
it's at
your
the
time
top
there,
of every
Beach.
agenda as well.
You get the
Good
best.
morning.
You get
Which
the
items
best
would you
of
like
it
to
here.
speak to?
General
Don't waste your
comment
time.
regarding 23.
Okay, so you have
Susan
1 minute
Powder,
for general
that's
public
what it
comment.
was.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My
Thank
name is
you.
Kim Feeder, and I'm the president of the Casa
Papa.
Mare Homeowners Association. And we represent
close.
$85 million in tax revenue annually for the city. I want to dispel the myth that everyone thinks anybody in Pacific Palisades has the riches
Is that who it is,
to
Colonel?
rebuild. That is not the case. We have numerous elderly. We have numerous people on fixed incomes. We have numerous people that were also canceled from their insurance, and we're lucky to get Fair Plan, underinsured. I want to support Tracy Park's proposal to waive fees for not only single-family homes, but also for apartments, condominiums, and mobile home parks. I also want to point out the fact to you that we did not buy a lot. We did not buy a lot where you normally pay all of these fees. We were burned down by a wildfire that was out of control and could not be stopped from our firefighters.
Don't worry, your
Good
home will
morning.
be
Which
taken
items would you
by
like to speak
low
to?
income,
Good morning,
low
general comment.
tards.
Item 23, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. My name's Louise, and I'm a nurse. I have a very young child and an older husband who is set to retire this year, but he unfortunately cannot because we lost everything in the Palisades fire. We owned a very small 1920s bungalow for 29 years, which has very small setbacks, 3 feet, not considered safe in today's standards, and would not allow us to participate in Zone 0, having 5 feet of defensible space to participate in lower insurance rates. Speaking of which, we're underinsured, and even with SBA loans, we and many others can only hope to rebuild back smaller than we had before. With the current eligibility and any amendments that are made, please get rid of any height restrictions because it stops or punishes the lower income small bungalow owners from increasing their setbacks. We need to be able to go in and up to have more defensible space in the Palisades and have a more resilient area for everybody and a more resilient tax base from the community. So I took the day off work today to beg you.
And
We understand the square
Speaker, your
foot
time has
cap.
expired.
You notice they have times for all the minorities and all these religious groups, but they haven't talked about anybody helping anybody in the fires for
morning. Which
11
items would you
fucking
like to
months.
speak to?
Notice that? And that's their area. Just so we're clear, old fucking Tracy.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes
done
for the
so
items
much.
and 1 minute for general public comment. Just FYI for everybody who's here who has not yet spoken, the items that are open for
retarded
public
Marilyn
comment on the
Monroe.
agenda are items 1
She's
through
done
10,
so much.
Item 15, items 25 through 34, and items 36 through 47. So you have 3 minutes for those items and then 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm Susan Collins, and first I would like to thank Tracy Park for her advocacy on behalf of the people she serves. If we had a government that cared as much for, if we had a government that cared for its people half as much as it cares for maximizing its profits, homes and lives would not have been lost last January.
Sure.
The fact that we're here to beg this council to waive permit and plan check fees on properties that your negligence burnt to the ground is almost incomprehensible. But that is what happens in Los Angeles, so here we are.
Thank you, DEI.
Our CAO says waiving these fees will cause a deficit in the city's general fund by more than $278 million. But how could waiving these fees, created by this disaster, cause a shortage in the general fund unless members of this council knew there would be this level of demand ahead of time and counted on acquiring those fees? Profiting from devastation is nothing new for politics in Los Angeles. But I still stand before you today and I respectfully request that just for today, don't be disgusting, and for today, do the right thing. Waive the planning and permit fees needed to rebuild.
I believe that was with regards to item 23, so that's your general public comment.
Yeah, he has to rip everybody.
Are there any of the other
Someone
items
just bring
that
them
you'd
a
like to
plate of
speak to,
food
or is it
and a
just
comb.
23?
You'll keep them busy for a long time. Just give them
That
food
was
and a
your general
comb.
public comment because you were speaking to item 23, which is not
Well, no,
open.
part of that time was I thank Tracy Park for her advocacy. I talked about other items. So I'd like to reclaim, at least my 1 minute for general public comment.
So again, we have to treat everybody
That's for
equally
Tracy in
here.
her
So
face.
the items that you just spoke to was directly related to item 23. So if there's another item that you'd like to speak to, you can do so at this time. Otherwise, we're gonna have to move on to the next speaker.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, get out of here, ma'am. We don't care about you or your fucking house. Don't
Before
worry.
the next speaker
Our low-income
begins-
voter base is going to be living where
Before the
you're
next
living
speaker
in
begins,
another
I'd like to
year.
call up
Don't
Dana,
worry about it.
Smoking Scan, Mark Eldridge, Sophia, and Jesus Rojas.
Don't worry. The DEI army will be right in your house.
My name is Kathy
You better give it here.
I
Morning. And which items would you like to speak to?
would like to speak to the item concerning my house burning down.
Okay. So so you have 1 minute for general public comment, and if I could have everybody just quiet down a little bit so I can hear the speakers,
signed up as
I
smokers?
would
Yeah,
appreciate
probably
it. Thank you.
Herman.
So you have 1 minute for general. Can we restart our time?
You know they
please?
usually do extra names in case they're not called by their
Okay, go
one
ahead.
name. They'll do 4 names.
My name is Kathy Locker. I'm 82 years old. I've lived in the Palisades since 1976. I raised my family in the Palisades. My children went through all the Palisades schools.
50 years.
Marquez Revere, Pali High. We are a Palisades family. We are, before the fire, we were 4 generations living in the Palisades. My home,
Yes,
my
tomato.
daughter's home, my grandson's home, they were all burned. We lost 4 homes and 1 apartment in the Palisades. And I would like to request that you consider helping us to return to our home. My family wants to go home.
Help?
And I would hope that you would help us do that by waiving the permit fees. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, in all due respect, don't you think they would have done that 11 months ago if they really cared about it? All due respect.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. General comment, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yep. My name is Lisa Solomon. I'm here to provide a general comment related to Pacific Palisades. And I'm a 3rd generation Palisadian and currently live with my family and my 87-year-old mother who bought her home there 50 years ago. Our home, like so many others, was a complete and total loss. Everything. And I think I speak for most of my neighbors, both in the Palisades and Altadena and anyone else who's lost their entire home, when I say we all just want to come home. Now we all spend hours each week navigating insurance, sorting temporary housing issues, and working on potential rebuilds, along with hundreds of our neighbors at the very same time. The to-do list is endless, the financial impact is staggering, and many of us were underinsured. We pay taxes. I'm gonna be quiet because I just hear a lot of talking. Thanks for your patience.
Good luck.
We pay taxes, and a fee waiver for rebuilding would provide one incentive and assist us as we work to decide when and how to come home to a town that we love and want to support financially. help
No,
us
Chris.
rebuild this city. Thank you for consideration of 23 and any related amendments that might come up. And appreciation to Tracy Park and our amazing community and neighbors, many of whom are here today to support this. Thank you.
Because Spencer's going after the higher. These are the lackeys. These are the little minions for the governor and the mayor. He's going after the governor
Good
and the
morning.
mayor.
I assume all items
These are
in
the
general
lackeys.
public comment?
He's a little dweeb.
So you'll have 3 minutes
compared
for
to
the
the
items
mayor
and 1 minute
or
for
the
general
governor.
public comment. Again, those items are items 1 through 10, item 15, item 25 through
That's
34, and items 36 through 47.
He knows it's a waste
Please begin
of
with the
time.
items.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Smoking Scan. My name is Dana. So let's start with item number 41. 窗外的天晴，就像是你多变的表情。下雨了，雨
Hi,
陪
Diane.
我哭泣。看不清，我也不想看清。离开你，我安静的抽离，不忍揭晓的剧情。我的泪留在心底。学会放弃 Dana 的声音一滴滴清晰 Dana 呼吸像雨滴深入我的爱里真希望 Dana 下不停让 Dana 继续让 Dana 透明我爱上给我勇气的 Dana love Now let's move on to item number 42 Dana 的雨滴一滴滴累积 Dana 的士气想存出爱你的记忆真希望 Dana 下不停 Dana 的秘密能一直延续我相信我将会看到 Dana 的美丽
This shit is hardcore. It bangs.
我受够了等待，你所谓的安排，说的未来到底多久才来？总是要来不
This shit's gonna be on MTV.
及，才知道我可爱。我想依赖，而你
Great,
却
Tokyo.
都不在。Now let's move on to item number 43.
Talented.
应该开
Look at
心的地带
Herman in the back flicking
Dana
everybody.
的全是空白，一个人
All the way in the
假
back.
日发呆，找不到人陪我看海。Dana 幸福的门外，却一直都进不来。Dana 寄给的伤害，我是真的很难释怀。终于看开 ，Dana 不来，而你总是太晚。明白，最后才把话说开，哭着求我留下来。终于看开 ，Dana 不来，我们面前太多阻碍，你的手却放不开，宁愿没出息 ，Dana 别离开。Now let's move on to general public
Before
comment.
you go on to general public comment, just as a
That's it, and
reminder,
then you
and I know we've
beeswax.
offered this multiple times in the past, we cannot force you to request an interpreter. But if you would like an interpreter and you let us know at least 48 hours
This is
in
a
advance,
DEI
we
clown
will do our
show,
best to
so
accommodate
expect
that.
this shit.
So again, you're welcome to sing.
This is what
and you're
DEI
welcome to sing in a
gets
different
you.
Language, but if you'd like an interpreter, just let the clerk.
This is what
talk
you
to
have
us
for when
know.
you hire a
Thank
bunch
you.
of dummies
You have
for
1
the
minute
color of their
general public comment.
skins
Go
or
ahead.
because they're
general
gay
public comment.
and
Yes,
retarded, whatever.
I'm providing a
This is
support
what happens.
for a community emotional support hotline. The number is 424-285-4567. Originally, I purchased this a phone number for my goddess Dana, but Dana said he does not communicate with anyone who has less than 24 inch. So I'm using this phone number for community emotional support. Anyone can send me a text messages, and then tomorrow night I'm gonna doing a YouTube live video phone call, and then I'm gonna calling back, doing that online live or whatever. The number is 424 285-4567. I'm going to do the community emotional support voice phone call once a week, twice a week. So anyone sending me a message, I'm going to call you back tomorrow night and do that every week, once a week. So hopefully we can re-elect Spindler to the city council. Everybody smoking scan, elect Spindler city council.
That's it. Shout out to 3-Inch Shrimp.
Before the next speaker begins, I would like to call up Rosanna Rocker, Lori Kutzel, Bart Young, Andrea Setlin, Henry Wright, and Vivian Chen.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Which
Mi
item?
nombre
Phone's
es
about to blow
Sofía
up.
Mendoza, soy miembro de ACE y quiero hablar comentario público en general.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sofia Mendoza. I'm an ACE member, and I would like to give general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Un minuto, adelante.
Por favor, voten en contra de la moción del concejal Lee para que no se permita que
call me
algunos
out.
propietarios
He loves us,
aumenten
John.
el alquiler de 1% adicional.
I would like to please ask you to vote against Council Member Lee's motion to allow certain landlords to increase the rent an additional %.
Este consejo ya votó a favor de la actualización de la
You
ley
want a
de
rent
vivienda y
increase?
servicios públicos del
What's
ARSO.
going on?
This council has already voted on the legislation regarding rent stabilization and utilities.
Aunque no era la solución de nuestra ciudad, que nuestra ciudad necesitaba para salir de esta crisis de vivienda, no están revisando los datos y estudios.
Although this doesn't provide the solution that the city needs to get out of this housing crisis, that we already have the studies that have already been completed.
Están tomando una decisión política arrodillados a los dueños corporativos y siguen fallando.
You're making a decision at the knees of the corporate landlords, and it's not right.
Se opusieron a la ayuda de alquiler más fuerte que los inquilinos de Los Ángeles necesitábamos.
We need stronger regulations for LA tenants.
Estamos decepcionados de varios concejales como el Distrito 15, 5, 6 y 8.
We're very disappointed by several council members, such as the council members from districts 15, 5, 6, and 8.
Si hay algo que cambiar es el 90 de CPI al 60%.
And there was a change in the formula from 60% CPI to 90% CPI.
No toquen a ULA, fue un voto democrático, esta ayuda de los inquilinos para sus protecciones.
And don't touch ULA because this was a democratic vote that was taken to be able to protect tenants.
Gracias.
Thank you.
And Mr. Herman, if you notice, they never interrupt anybody speaking Spanish, ever. So, Mr. Herman, I beg you, please, next time, all in Spanish. We love your Spanish. I love to hear the interpretation of your words in Spanish. It's even better than the English.
I'm a 20-year
Thank you, Mr. Herman.
resident of Green Meadows West. The approved plan set forth for Harbor City RV lot does not show a single restroom, shower, laundry room, or service building, even though the plans submitted by the developer themselves claim compliance with Title 24 and Title 25. Under Title 25, these facilities are mandatory in every RV park that contains dependent spaces, and the Harbor City plan contains no notation that all RVs must be self-contained. This means under 25 CCR, all 46 RV spaces are presumed dependent, which triggers mandatory service buildings. A ministerial approval cannot stand when the plans omit state-required buildings. The permit was issued on an incomplete plan set and must be remanded. How did such a fundamental Title 24 and Title 25 requirement go unreviewed? A CUP must be mandatory and should be fully required for this project, no exceptions. The developer approved for 46 RV stalls, but built 48 and even roughed in 7 more utility hookups, bringing the real capacity to 55 RVs. This is on a site of 2.5 single resident houses in our area. This is unprecedented. This takes and affects every single person in this room, every neighborhood, including Pacific Palisades, including Altadena. It is wrong and it is inappropriate. Aerial footage, including ABC News on June 27th, shows these unauthorized expansions and extra utility islands. Yet here we are, the 6th time I've had to take time off work, doing my job that I should be doing to address this. A CUP must be mandatory.
Thanks, Tons.
I'm speaking to every council member, and I thank you for your support. I thank you, Tim McCosker. You've done above and beyond, but now is the time for action. I think 6 times is enough for me to take 6 days off my work. I specialize in international trade. It's the busiest time of the year. I should be helping grow revenue in Los Angeles County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for taking your time off of work and being a hard worker and contributing to
Which
the low
items would
life.
you like to
Yes,
speak to?
public
helping pay
comment
their bills.
regarding 23.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Rosanna Rocker. Our mayor told us that we would be supported. Our governor told us we would be supported. And our president told us we would be supported. We need the support from our LA City Department of Building and Safety. They don't know what's going on.
Nope.
Our properties have burnt down, structures have burnt down. They're trying to find old permits on properties that were built in the 20s and that don't exist. If our structures burnt down, let us rebuild those burnt down structures. It's not that complicated.
Nope.
If Altadena were in LA City, would this be waived much quicker?
No.
We are a community that wants to rebuild. Please represent the city of angels. We are a city of angels. Show us that. Help us rebuild, and please waive these permit fees and the bureaucracy that goes with it. Thank you.
Okay, so we know now from her her admittance there that she's from Altadena. It's 11 months still since that fire, and she
Which
can't
items would you
rebuild
like to
either.
speak to?
Item
So 2
number
different fires,
23.
nobody can
And I
rebuild
have
because of the
papers
fees
to
and
be
permits.
distributed to the council member. Is that all right?
11
Yes,
months
that's
later.
perfectly fine. So the sergeants are going to come and get the papers.
Who
from
paid
you.
for them
You
11
will
months
have
in a
1
hotel?
minute.
For each council member.
Nobody,
Not be
but
enough.
them.
So you'll have 1 minute for general.
They got
public comment where you can
$750
speak to
bucks
the
though
item.
from
Go
the
ahead.
government. They
Okay.
got that. Thanks, FEMA.
I lost my townhouse in the Palisades, and I've lived in the city for 30 years. So I'm here to plead that to include townhouses and condominiums in the rebuild permit fee waivers and plan check fees to be waived.
They should
My
be.
house is just like a single family home. We have one structure, one roof. There's only one wall dividing my unit and my next door neighbors. So we also pay property tax. We're trying to rebuild. We're the first ones who find the architect and who submit the permit. So I'm here to plead that townhouses and condominium rebuilding fees are also being waived. So we also pay property tax. And it's been 5 months since we submit the plan, and we
Yeah,
haven't
Nina.
heard anything yet.
Yeah, that chick's really at the wrong meeting. She should be at the county supervisor meeting. This is the city, not the county. Altadena's in the county, not the city of.
Good morning.
So,
Which items would you like to speak to?
I don't know. Maybe she's just trying to
You
get
have 1
good
minute for general.
coverage.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is a general comment. So I'm Andrea Zetlin. I've lived in the Palisades for 38 years. I've lived there with my husband and my son. We raised our son there. He enjoyed life in the Palisades, all the amenities that the Palisades had to offer, and now we're hoping that our grandchildren can do that as well. We're retired. We live on a fixed income.
She should be at this meeting.
And housing costs
Right here.
are incredible.
This is
We've
the county
started
meeting.
rebuilding, but it is unbelievable how much construction costs are. We really hope that you could help us by passing this waiver. And thank you, Tracy, for all that you've done for us.
My name is Bart Young.
county
This is
senator?
23, and I have 1 minute.
They were tired of hearing her
I
over
want to
there.
start by publicly thanking Tracy Park
Holy-
for drafting the
Oh.
initiative to waive the permits and fees and all the support that she has given us. She gives us hope.
I mean, really quick, I gotta pause it. So everybody's thanking her because she was the one. This one in the green here, right here, this chick in the green was the only one to, I guess, waive the fees. While the other 14 didn't want to waive the fees and make money off you before you even built your house back again because they love you so much. Thanks for voting.
But no, we don't have too much right now. I need to alert the council of two very serious matters. Department of Water and Power is not complying with Mayor Bass's Executive Order number 7, which requires all city departments to suspend permits and fees for the victims. They are charging mandatory flat, non-itemized amounts for reconnecting power and insisting these are materials and service costs. Under California law, a standardized, non-cost-based charge is a fee regardless of what you call it. And number 2, I don't know what the dollar amount is. We heard 86 million in permits and fees. Today I heard 200 million. Regardless of whatever it is, these are outrageous numbers.
200 million more for them.
We as residents are required to pay all the services to get this job done. This is nothing but exploitation. Thank you very much.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And I hope you remember, sir, when you vote, hope all of you who got your houses burned, remember what they're doing to you when you go fucking vote. And if you vote again for them, fuck 23. You, fuck your house, go piss on those ashes and go sleep on them.
My name is Henry Wright. You burned my house down. Pursuing your ideological agenda, and you want me to pay? Me? You burned it down. You have created Animal Farm. As you sit through there at the trough and feed your ugly, distorted reality, real people, real families, real hardships grip every corner of my community. LA bureaucracy has evolved to serve only itself with rules, reporting, paperwork, slogans that replace substance. Who pays? Me. This isn't an abstract concept. It's my money. You burned my house and everything I own down to complete ash without putting one drop of water on it.
Thank you, OCB.
It raged till it was a foot high. It was an inferno engulfing my history and my whole being. Do the right thing.
Next speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for not licking their ass and telling them and putting them in their fucking places.
Hi, general public comment on 23.
And telling it how it really is. They burnt your house
Thank you,
down.
council members, for taking up this very important issue today. My name is Lori Cudzel, and I lost my home in the Palisades fire. I'm here today to support our amazing Councilwoman Tracy Park and the ad hoc committee in their recommendation to waive all permit fees for every victim trying to rebuild. So whether it's homes, mobile homes, townhomes, condos, respectfully, because I don't see the difference. It's a it's a home. It's where. So please, respectfully, I want to highlight that we lost absolutely everything. So these are not. These are rebuilds. They're not renovations. We lost completely everything. We don't. There's so much that needs to be paid for. Waiving the permit fees would be an act of compassion and would provide immediate and tangible relief to families already stretched to their limits. It's a gesture that would demonstrate the city's commitment to its residents in their greatest time of need. And also, it just wasn't our fault. We don't want to be doing these rebuilds. We have to do these rebuilds. So please, we're begging you, really, truly. Thank you.
All right, Golf and Gun, have a good one, buddy.
Next speaker.
Yeah, they came back after taking a month off, basically, for Thanksgiving to take another month off.
I would like to call up
Hanukkah
Thomas
and Christmas
Doran,
and New Year's.
Hilda Solis, Haldis Topol, Sandy Tanaka, and Elba Cuevas.
Why would they waive the fees if they already made $200 million off you? Sheesh. You haven't even put a fucking nail into a board yet. They already made $200 million off you. Not to mention they held a concert for you and then stole all the money from it. Every fucking dollar. Every dollar. Every dollar. Over $100 million raised and not $1 went to any victim.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
Where did it go? They ain't talking about it, though.
And I'm an ACE member. And,
DEI pigs.
Please vote against.
Did even give here?
Please motion to prevent some landlords from raising rents by an additional 1%. This council already voted to update the Housing and Utilities Act, LARSO. Although it wasn't the solution our city needed to get out of this housing crisis, they are not reviewing the data and studies. They are making a political decision, bowing and kissing ass to corporate landlords, and they continue to fail. Please, they oppose the strong rental assistance that Los Angeles tenants needed. We are disappointed in several council members, including District 15, 5, 6, and 8. If anything needs to be changed, it is the reduction of the CPIO from 90% to 60%. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Speaking on 23.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Morning, my name is Tom Doran. My children are fifth generation Palisadians. My wife's parents lived right across the street from us. They, their parents, and my wife's great-grandparents all raised families here in the Palisades. For generations, this has been our home, and my children plan to grow old here in the Palisades.
Yup, Ian.
After the fire, we are struggling to rebuild while construction costs have skyrocketed. Many of us are at a breaking point. Waiving the fees associated with item 23 on today's agenda would do far more than just help devastated families like mine get back on our feet. It would allow us to rebuild faster, restore the tax base sooner, and protect the future revenue the city of Los Angeles will need in the years ahead. Please support fee waivers in item 23 and in Tracy Park's ad hoc committee. It is the right thing for the residents who have lost everything, and is a smart thing for the long-term fiscal health of Los Angeles. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Which items?
Good morning. I'd like to speak to item 15.
Okay, and 15 in general or just 15?
15 in general.
Okay, and if you could pull the microphone a little bit more close, that would be great. Yes, you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandy Tanaka. I'm a 37-year homeowner and resident in Green Meadows, West Harbor City.
That's it.
I would like to bring your attention to the performance standard number 3 regarding a requirement for an 8-foot perimeter fence around an RV park. The developer instead installed a fence that measures only 7 feet, which is a full foot short of the mandatory height. But there's more. The fence was placed on a slope, making it visibly crooked and causing the entire front line of construction to shift forward. As a result, the fence does not meet the 20.5-foot required front setback under performance standard number 4. At gate 2, the setback is only 17.3 feet, and nowhere along the frontage does it reach the required distance.
General?
If the developer cannot meet the most basic ministerial standards of an 8-foot fence and 20.5-foot setback, then this project does not qualify for ministerial approval at all. I'd like to see, and my neighbors would like to see, a conditional use permit. Council must remand this project. The setback is wrong, the fence is wrong, and the standards were not met. Thank you.
We all know if we put up a fence that was in the, sloping or wrong height, they'd make us take it down in a day.
Good morning. Which
So
items?
make them take it down.
Good morning. My name
That's
is
what I
Aldous Topple. I'm speaking on item number 23.
So you have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. I will have 2 points to make. One is for myself. I'm 83 years old. I've worked for the city of LA for 20 years, and I'm on city retirement. With that, I'm trying to rebuild my house, and it is stressful, and I need all the help you can get us. Point number 2 is being familiar with the city's budget process. I can assure you, all of you, council members, that you will not suffer from the general budget shortage. These fees have never been planned, as has already been noted. They've never been budgeted.
They are Satan.
They will be spread over at least 5 years, because we're not all building the same year, either in 25 or 26 or 27. I urge you and I beg you to support your colleague who sponsored this motion in her effort to help us, our beloved Tracy Park. Thank you.
Our beloved Tracy Park. She ain't done nothing in 11 months. That's proof in the pudding. You're now thanking her.
morning, sir.
None of you have your houses back, so what are we talking about?
23, the fires in Palaces and public in general.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to, good morning, everyone, public and committee. I haven't been here for a while, but real quick, I worked in the law office for 30 years. For those people that their houses burn, I would recommend if you own a loan of 15, 30 years, you open a claim under title home insurance. You demand and you open a claim, they would refer you to big corporate attorneys. If in this corporate attorney, there's a young attorney that you feel like you're not working with it, you have a right to call back title home insurance and get referred to another corporate attorney. You're gonna go under omission. Remember, you would not pay a dime, so the city will probably be receiving like 100 attorneys' lawsuits. Trust me on this one. You need to open a claim under title home insurance, under omission, please. And I understand what you're going through, and I understand perfectly. Thank you.
Why do all that, ma'am? They're so hopeful. Just go to Tracy Park. She'll build your home back by herself.
Nicole Paulson Kahane, Patricia Mendoza, Rich Wilkin, Kathy Locker, and Luis Medell.
Did I get my other 2 minutes?
No.
So, Speaker, you were speaking to item 23, for which public comment was already held at committee. So you had to speak to it during general public comment. So we have to treat everybody fairly and give them the same amount of time for the items requested. So you had 1 minute for general. So that is the end of your time. If you'd like to provide additional comments, you can do so in writing at lacouncilcomment.com.
Don't worry.
But for now,
Just
we need to
thank
move on to the next
Tracy
speaker.
Park. Everything will be okay, ma'am. Just thank Tracy Park and walk away. Everything will be okay. Thanks, Tracy Park.
Good morning. Which items?
Item number 15.
You walked up to
general,
him, flicked them off.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. And council member, my name's Nicole Paulson Kahane, and I'm a resident of Green Meadows West. I urge you to veto and remand the City Planning Commission's action regarding the proposed RV park development because RVs are not housing, cannot be treated as housing under California law, and the city's current regulatory framework fails to comply with state health and safety code regulations. First, under California Health and Safety Code, 18,865 through 18,071.10, RV parks are classified as special occupancy parks, not residential housing. These sections explicitly distinguish recreational vehicles from permanent dwellings and prohibit local jurisdictions from treating RV spaces as long-term housing units. Furthermore, the LEMC reflects the same distinction. They're not permanent fixed structures. They don't meet the definition of dwelling units.
General?
This, let's see. LAMC fails to comply with state law governing special occupancy parks. The city departments do not coordinate on these together. LADBS, CPC, HCD, all are segmented and not together, inconsistent. And finally, you know, there's public health and safety issues with this RV park. There's 46 squeezed in under 2 acres on 9 capped oil wells with no review at all from anyone. Really, it's, and the 12 performance standards have not been met.
Capped oil wells underneath them.
At the forefront, right? When it doesn't meet, it should have required a conditional use permit. That did not happen in this case. We please urge you to require a conditional use permit on this project. For the safety of everyone, not just the community, but those that are going to live there too. So please, I urge you all to please vote for CUP.
Thank you.
Right.
Next speaker.
Bring your RV, park it here. You'll die a slow death thanks to the fumes that are emanating from the ground.
Good morning, sir. Which items would you like to speak to?
General
love it.
on
That's how we do it.
Please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
All this oil, and yet
Council
we're paying the
members,
highest prices.
My name is
for it.
Rich Wilkin. I am 79 years old. My wife and I grew up in the Palisades. Our grandchildren are 5th generation. We are both on Social Security, as are 25 to 30% of the people who live in the Palisades, are seniors. Our home of 46 years burned on January 7th. 3 generations of our family were living in our modest 1,200 square foot home when it burned With shortage of insurance coverage for even a modest home, with rebuild costs a minimum of $500 per square foot and coverage of only $350 per square foot, we are not sure if we can afford to rebuild and return to our home of 46 years. Building permits and other fees from all city agencies can add up to $20,000 to $40,000 for even a small home. Please help us seniors have a chance to afford to return home to our modest homes before we die.
I'm sorry that happened, sir. Look, this is what he's got to deal with in the twilight of his years. Last 20 years of his life, he's got to worry about building his home back, fighting to even start the building.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
My name is Lisa
Sad.
Locker. My
Really
family's
sad.
called the Palisades home for 4 generations. We've lived here since the 70s. This community is woven into every part of who we are. This fire tore through our neighborhood. It didn't just take the buildings, it took our history, our stability, emotional stability, our financial stability. My family alone lost 3 homes and the duplex that created a rental income for us. During these tragic days, we have worked to build. Everything that we worked to build has been reduced to ashes. My mother, myself, my son, his wife, and my grandchildren all became homeless in just a matter of a few short days. Before this nightmare, we never imagined building new homes. We wanted to stay rooted in the community that shaped us. I'm asking you on the behalf of my neighbors and my family and my friends to waive all building and permitting fees for fire-related rebuilds.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I would like to call up Rebecca Loeb, Michelle Murphy, Ed Shrimp, Roger Allen, Daphne Gronich, and Harriet Elliott.
Oh, Harriet's there. What was it, though? Ad shrimp? What was My girlfriend's there. Where is she
Good
at?
morning.
Good morning. Which items?
General comment for 23.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
I'm going to go
ahead.
refill my
Thanks.
coffee. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lobel. I'm 63, and with
Why
my
isn't he standing
husband,
up?
owned our home in the Palisades for 34 years. It's where we raised our 2 kids. As a mother, there's nothing I want more than to provide a sanctuary for my family again, especially during the holidays, of course. The Christmas decorations that my parents made before I was born and handed down to me, like my son's first baseball glove, and the dollhouse that my husband made for our daughter, all gone.
Not many apartments there, Anonymous.
Still,
Mostly single-family
we
homes
want to rebuild.
in Palisades.
We want to return, recreate,
It's not an apartment area, really.
invest in the future. We need LA's help. We are all traumatized. We need your help to go home. Thank you.
11 months later, we need your help to go home. That's so sad, man. 11 fucking months, and
morning.
they're
Which
still not
items?
home.
Hi, Michelle Murphy, general comment regarding item 23.
Okay, so you
All
have
right,
1
I'll
minute.
be right
Go
back.
ahead.
I'm going to refill my coffee.
I lived in the Palisades, bought a home. I'm a single mom. I do not have a trust fund. I do not have family money. I do not get child support. I do not get alimony. I am a business owner who bought a home in 2020 for myself and my 2 boys, and we lost everything. I sold the lot not because I don't want to be in the Palisades. My dream is to go back. It did not make sense to have a mortgage with the carrying costs of property taxes, insurance, while our city waits to figure out how to do the right thing. My intention is to buy back in when you guys can figure it all out. I can't afford to wait it out for everybody. I don't know, thank you to Tracy Park. I wish you were our mayor, our governor, our city council person. I wish I could clone you. It's a lot of pressure. I know for you, you're just one person, but you are hope for our community, and I hope to see you soon in the Palisades.
Good morning. Which items?
Item number 23, general
Okay.
comment.
So you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
My name is Alice Gould. I'm 69 years old. I bought my home in the Palisades 28 years ago, raised my 2 children there. working full-time as a single parent. I retired December 31st of last year. A week later, my house burns down. We lost everything. I'm rebuilding my home, which is currently under construction. I made this decision based on Mayor Bass's executive order to waive building and permit fees. Also, I assumed that State Farm would honor my policy, yet they are holding back a significant portion of my coverage. So I may be forced to use my retirement money to complete my rebuild until it gets sorted out. The thought that the Palisades that everyone in the Palisades is rich is misguided. 27% are senior citizens, many living on a fixed income. 42% earn less than $150,000 a year, 22% under 75. I ask that you waive the fees. It's going to bring money to the city taxes.
Speaker, your time has expired.
For me personally, I don't know if I'm rebuilding to come back home or to sell.
I'm going to guess if most people are going to rebuild to sell because they won't be able to get the insurance after
Which
they
items?
rebuild. Even the
Item
code
23.
Okay,
doesn't
so you have
matter.
1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy Park. Thank you, City Council. My name is Roger Allen.
Not yet, Beach.
My family home of 62 years in
I'm
Pacific
finishing the
Palisades
last
was
bag of the
significantly damaged
yellow
by
bag that you
smoke
gave
in the
me.
Palisades fire. It did not burn down.
None of the new
However, to restore our home, it's
maybe
been
a cup or two
significant,
left in that. and it's done.
amount of money. We're over $250,000 so far, and we're nowhere near being done. Please provide some relief on the permit fees required for the restoration of my home, as well as condos, apartments, the trailer park in the Palisades. Thank you for your time.
Beach, it'll go quick now because it's cold. You know what I mean? I have the heater on every morning. Oh, here she goes. There's my lady next.
Good morning. Which
Coming up
item?
next.
Speaking on item 23.
I hope she
Okay,
goes
so you have
crazy.
1 minute for
Talks
general.
about
Go ahead.
vagina.
I find it ironic that I'm here exactly 47 weeks after essentially the first emergency alert went to some of us to
47
evacuate,
weeks.
or potentially evacuate. And I stand before you as the owner of a plot of dirt in the Palisades. Of the around 180 homes, condominiums, small units, and other small buildings in the area, there's about 8 of them left. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, and I haven't been able to really cry. Our
big
home
enough.
of 27 years with all of its contents, family
a lot of
photos,
coffee,
childhood
Beach.
souvenirs, diplomas, art, family heirlooms, clothing, and furniture just disappeared 3 weeks after we were forced onto the FAIR plan. As far as we can tell, no firefighters ever came to our street during the fire, either because there was no water in the reservoir or because they just never got there. Since January, it really feels that our community is waiting for the city to have our backs, other than our council person.
Thanks,
We've
DEI
heard a lot
chief.
of things, and we really need you to waive fees and support us so that we can help support you.
Fantastic lesbian
Next
firefighter made sure everything was great. So glad we got a lesbian in there. Did a fantastic
Which
job.
items?
DEI wins again.
2 and 3 and general.
Okay,
I
so
did-
you
yeah,
have 2 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
I have only a second to talk about the items, which are about lighting. I don't have lighting in front of my house, okay? Sometimes there's lighting around the sides. This is actually very important. Last time there was a thing about sensors. You're getting the newest sensors. You know that
Okay, so this sounds like general public. I'm going to move you to general
Sexual
public comment.
censors?
You have 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to general, then let's stop, okay? Before I talked about 20 people around me getting cancer. It's a possibility I have the signs of cancer also. And my doctor, I need to get away from him. He actually prescribed ezetimibe, and I threw them out. Almost 100 of them. I don't respect this doctor. I need to get away from him. His name's Simeon Cohen. Everything looks fine about him, but we had an incident where I misunderstood him, and it looks like it's challenging his masculinity or something. He can't get over it. So I'm not even accepting anything that he says about me. And if it's true that they didn't accept my cancer for colon test, then they make me wait for the new doctor 2 extra months till January 20th. I was supposed to see a new doctor right away, Chatta, and yet what happened was...
What does this have to do with the city?
When I'm calling Kaiser...
1 minute general public comment.
That's it. Yeah.
Next speaker.
My other one is that my doctor, optometrist, is trying to fuck me. This guy is named
Thank you so much. Thank you to
Kahali.
everybody who came to give testimony for this morning's meeting. Madam Clerk,
Optometrist trying to fuck her. Now she doesn't like the other doctor
what
either.
is
We just not trying to
before
fuck
us
her,
at
though.
this time?
More speakers.
Mr.
Oh, look, she's getting
President,
angry. Look at her
item
face.
47 was
her
called
face.
special by Mr. Price for a recusal, sir.
Look at her face. She doesn't
All
like
right,
when
Mr.
people
Price
talk
will
out.
recuse
She's trying to
himself.
talk. More speakers. No, because they don't care. That's what you get for fucking voting for the
indicated at the beginning
DEI
of the meeting
clown
that we weren't
show.
going to get to all
Better
135
give it here.
speakers because we've got to deal with the business that's in front of us today. So in order to get to the business that you all came for, we needed to close public comment after well over an hour of public comment.
Well over an hour. What a liar.
Okay,
What a
so
fucking liar.
Speaker
Well over
again,
an hour.
We appreciate everyone being
I've been going
here,
an hour
but we do
15
need to
minutes.
get on with city
They were
business.
fucking
I'm gonna
around
ask
for
you,
at
please
least
don't disrupt
12.
this meeting.
Not to
And we're
mention
trying
how
hard to
talks
serve
over
you by
everybody.
getting to the items that you came for. All right, let's open the roll on item number 47. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
Oh, Price, hopefully he's
All right,
in
we'll
jail
bring Mr.
already.
Price back. What's
Hopefully.
next, Madam Clerk?
That's where he belongs.
Next,
Shout out
Mr.
to you,
President,
fucking Grady.
Council may now vote on items.
Hopefully you and your wife are up in there.
27, 28, 30 through 34, 36,
That's it,
37,
Ian.
39 through 42.
We're lucky we got it.
44 and 46, sir.
All right. Let's open the roll on those items. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
All right, Mr. Soto Martinez.
The only no is, or nobody there is Price.
Item
Well,
number
there he
3,
is. He
forthwith,
doesn't
without
care. He's
objection.
back.
That'll be the order.
He's back.
All right, what's next?
Where was you
Mr. President,
smoking a joint
so
out back,
in
dog?
addition to item 33 forthwith, there is a request also to have item 46 go forthwith, sir.
All right, without objection, that'll be the order. What's next?
Next would be item number 1, and that was called special by Councilmember Nazarian.
Councilmember Nazarian.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, I just wanted to rise and say that while I will be supporting this, this measure, I couldn't help but to notice the fee changes, and on one of them, on the fire spot check, notice
The
that
man
it's
has
being
12
reduced by
felony counts against
$2
him
from
currently.
$287 to
He's been indicted
$285.
on 12 felony
Again, while I
counts. We're
support
waiting
this
for his sentencing.
recommendation, I
That's
just
what I have
wanted to
against him. And he's
bring
making a
notice
$200+
to the body
thousand
that
dollar
we
salary
are
a
going to
year.
be working
Waltz
on filming
being
related permitting
charged
issues. And so
with
there
12
will be
different
a lot
felony
more to
counts.
come.
That's why I don't like it.
But a lot more to come in order to address the growing needs that we've had in the entertainment industry. A $2 change in permitting fee does not adequately address the need, but
We're waiting
it'll
for the
be
conviction
a
and
step
the
in the right
sentencing.
direction.
That's all
Thank
we're
you.
waiting for now.
All right. All right, let's open the roll on that item. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote. 15 ayes. All right, what's next?
Next would be item 15,
gonna
and
talk
that
like
was
I'm
called
12 and I'm
special
55.
by Councilmember McCosker. There is an amendment, McCosker Park, that's been submitted and circulated, sir.
Councilmember McCosker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members. Item number 15 we have seen a couple of times, and I know it's been in committee. The narrow
Hopefully,
question,
Cass.
if you will, before us is this a project for which the applicant has applied that can be approved ministerially over the counter without any further review, or does it require a conditional use permit? That's the narrow question today. And I have articulated many arguments as to why a CUP is required. And as you know, lawyers very often argue in the alternative. And so I'm going to lay all three of them out at least, but I want to focus on one today, which is the subject of the amending motion. The use itself, an RV park, the definition of the use itself says that it is a facility that is authorized by a conditional use permit. That is, we should begin and end right there. The use is defined as something that requires a CUP. I realize that there is a great deal of angst and discussion as to why that's not the case, coming from our staff. Sometimes I think they over-argue it. But if we go to the section that they rely on, that has been relied on by the
little Bill
applicant and by
Clinton
some
thumb and
members of our
everything.
staff, you look at section 14.00 of the municipal code.
He's the token Irish guy.
Technically A7. And it says that an RV park is permitted because it's a public benefit. Public benefit is never defined. The public benefit is never articulated anywhere in the code, but public benefit allows an RV park to go into this residential zone, according to some people's reading. But when one looks at the subsection, it also says that it has to be lawfully authorized on the date of that ordinance change, which ordinance was adopted well before the definition.
Well, they have their
Somehow
own police.
our staff reads that provision out of the code as well.
Cheaper to have the county
There's
just
a lot
do
of
it.
intellectual gymnastics going on
Just
here.
have the sheriff department watch
So we
it.
read out of the code the
Rent
definition
them.
of the use. We read out of the code the requirement that it be lawfully established, which of course relates back to the definition. Those are two arguments that I'm going to set aside for a minute because I want to go to our own staff's argument.
He's a fake Irishman.
When one looks at 14.00A7,
they got the Armenian guy, the Jewish
it
guy,
says
the
that in a
openly gay
residential
Filipino,
zone
the
and other
closed
zones,
gay Chinese guy.
if you meet the
You know,
following
they got it all.
12 criteria, it is a ministerial approval. If you do not meet the following 12 criteria, and they're laid out, then a CUP shall be required. So I'm going to take the most generous reading of the code, for the applicant, which I disagree with because of the other arguments I just made. But let's take staff's argument.
Yeah, Ian.
If you meet the 12
would you want them across the street from your
criteria,
house,
you can move forward.
even if it didn't
If you
affect
don't
your
meet
property
the
value?
12 criteria, a CUP is
Jump in
required.
their piss, acting a fool all night,
Unfortunately, it
doing
took
drugs.
245
Not
motions.
a good look.
While this kept getting pushed forward and pushed forward and pushed forward, and somehow and for some reason, staff was relying upon a plan sheet that says, from the applicant, of course, the applicant wrote this, the project meets all Los Angeles performance standards and metrics
Who's
under
chasing?
14.00. It doesn't. If the plan, and for some reason we bought it. If this plan sheet had said the earth is flat, I'm assuming there's a whole bunch of planners and zoning administrators who would profess that the earth is flat. This plan sheet doesn't meet the standards itself. And on the second 245, what came back to us after numerous, many arguments made by the appellant on several of the conditions, we have a zoning administrator's report that tells us that condition 3 and condition 4 and condition 5 aren't met. That should be full stop right there. On the most generous reading of the code, that should be full stop, a CUP is required. But somehow we don't get there. What we do get from the determination letter, the letter of determination, the second one that had to come out because we had to 245 it twice. We have a statement that an RV park, this is in the conclusion of the couple hundred pages of report, an RV park can be approved ministerially as a public benefit project under the section I described if it complies with the required performance standards. A conditional use permit, these are not my words, these are our staff's words, is required only if one or more of the performance standards are not met. And then we go on to read that in fact, we are unclear and believe that standard 3, standard 4, and standard 5 are not met. 3 deals with the walls, and we heard testimony today. And walls are important because they define boundaries. They define setbacks. They define buffer zones. We see that in item 4, which is a definition of where the setback has to go, that it's really, really clear that 2 things can't happen. They can't meet the prevailing setback of 20 feet and also squeeze in 46 RVs. It's impossible. It's mathematically impossible. Although when one looks at the project that they're moving forward on without permit, they probably have over 50 stub outs. So they're planning on cramming them in as tightly as possible. We'll put that issue aside. And item 5 deals with the landscape and buffer zone, which also defines the size of the project. So it's a very simple proposition. If this is the project they want, and this is their application, a CUP is required. The zoning administrator goes on to say that the prevailing setback must be determined by a plan check engineer and added to the plans. Added to the plans. That sounds like a change to me. Plans must also be updated. Updated. That's a word for changed, a different project. The plans must be updated to reflect the project design changes that may be needed if the prevailing setback is determined to be greater than 20 feet, which it is. In addition, plans should be updated with clear labels. Not having clear labels on a plan is designed for one thing and one thing only: to blow past the staff and get a ministerial approval of a project that requires a CUP. With clear labels for project elements, any portion of the RV park in the required 10-foot landscape buffer, which we know today, mathematically, is absolutely necessary. If they want this project, they're in the landscape buffer, CUP. Any portion of the RV park in the required 10-foot landscape buffer must be relocated, and adjustments, different project, to the project design and plans made accordingly. This additional information is needed to ensure compliance with the performance standards. Numbers 3, 4, and 5. Now here it gets really interesting. So I've already said enough that a CUP is required by the simplest, by the clearest reading of the code and the most generous reading of the code for the applicant. CUP is required. But we conclude this report with, therefore, the zoning administrator recommends that the applicant be required to update plan sheets. These are the plan sheets. That's a different project. As described above, to be able to move forward with the issuance of a use of land building permit. So give us a different project and we'll give you a permit. If the required performance standards cannot be met, approval of a conditional use permit that provides relief from the unmet performance standards will be needed for a use of land permit to be issued. All of this,
the Plum Committee,
these hundreds and hundreds of pages are telling us that the project they applied for, in the most generous reading of the code, tells us that a CUP is required because they don't meet the standards. And yet somehow, inexplicably, we're saying, we'll keep working with you. Give us a different project and we'll approve it. No, that's not how it works. If your project can't be approved without a CUP and you don't apply for a CUP, you apply for a new project. Apply for a new project. Conform with the code or don't conform with the code. Comply with the code. If this is the project you want, if this is the project they want, and I've held it up a few times, apply for a CUP. And so, members, I'm urging you to accept the amendment of today, which says simply that this project requires a CUP and that the use of land permit shall not issue, which, by the way, was the determination below, and that any outstanding permits, although it's not clear that there's any active permit for this site at all, in fact, there are statements in the record saying there is no active permit, shall be null and void, reapply, conform to the code. I'm going to urge an aye vote on my amendment.
Councilmember Blumenfield.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCosker. And as you know, I'm very sympathetic to the situation that you're in, and I supported your 245s. I don't like this project. I don't like what it's doing in the community. But in Planning Committee, we voted to deny the appeal. And we did so because we exhausted all the remedies and we went to court, in trial court, and we lost. And then we had a closed session about the liabilities that would occur to us if we continue down this road. And then all of us who heard that said, okay, we cannot continue down this road. It would just be throwing good money after bad. As painful as that is, and I feel the pain. I mean, I had a similar, different kind of thing with ED1. When ED1 came out, and there was a little bug in the system where it didn't get defined right away, and there were a couple of big projects in my district that are going to go next to single-family homes. I fought against it. This council backed me up on that. We went to court, and I don't know how we lost that, but we lost it.
Of course you
did.
did.
And at that point, I had to go to my community and say, everything. I tried, we fought it, but we lost in court, and I can't drag the city through more expenses when, we're going to lose. This is a similar situation here. But I also feel like you all ought to have the benefit of that closed session that we had on the litigation. So I would ask that we schedule this for a closed session. Not this item. There's a related item on the
over there
litigation.
chewing gum, rolling his eyes, no tie on,
committee.
came in late.
That is really
Oh
shapes
boy,
our view on
all the standards
on this
of
issue.
DEI.
So, in fairness to everybody here,
I hear,
be
ain't
able to
I?
hear the reasons, the legal reasons, and have our city attorney, because we can get our city attorney up here. but we
Hand
know
on
that
my
they're never gonna
face,
say
looking
very
like
much,
I'm a pissed little
outside of
kid.
closed session. But I cannot support
Nothing to
it.
say.
Knowing what I know, having gone through the
No
closed
interjection.
session, and as much as I'm with you and with your community on this, I can't in good conscience support granting the appeal when I know that that's going to just cost
Chewing
us
on
a
that gum
tremendous
'cause his
amount of
breath
money that we
stank.
don't have. And that's also why I supported the ICO to move forward prospectively so we don't get in the situation again, because we should never have been in this situation, and we shouldn't be in this situation, but we are. So with that, I guess I would ask that we would continue this vote until this body gets a chance to hear what the committee heard.
Second largest
in closed
city in the
session,
entire
which was
country.
dispositive
This is the
enough
guy that
for
runs it.
us unanimously to vote to deny the appeal.
Got it. So Mr. Blumenfeld is requesting
of course, he was handed the
that
job
we go to
because of
closed
who he
session,
is.
which I think we would have to at least wait until tomorrow to do that.
Not because
Mr.
he's
McCosker?
super bright and really good at what he did or does.
There's a lot of frustrations here. One of the many frustrations is that my office was excluded from that closed session. I would love to hear
Why were you excluded? Let's hear about
what
that.
the arguments of the city attorney's office were. I would also like to know whether, in closed session, so heads up, whether or not this information that the project does
What does
not
that have to do
meet
with a
the
Junior
standards in the
Wade?
code was
Wade Jr.?
introduced in that litigation.
Whether he is or isn't, doesn't matter.
If
Still
so,
unprofessional.
what was the response of the court? And if not, why not? Mr. President, this item is on a 245. It's time limited. It
Yeah,
actually
Beach.
expires tomorrow. The time limit of the 245 expires tomorrow. I'm eager to be in closed session and to hear it. I'm eager to hear the arguments and respond. But we have to have assurance that this would be heard in closed, if not today, by the way. Is there any reason why it couldn't be heard today?
It
In
can't be
closed?
heard today, correct?
What?
It cannot be heard today. It's not on the agenda as a closed session.
And the clerk, we'll ask the clerk to issue a continuation agenda for tomorrow. So that will assure that it's on the agenda tomorrow
Yeah.
as a closed session item.
In my experience with this whole matter, going back a year and a half, is that there's a whole lot of you can't get there from here. And it seems to be coming from one office. And that's the office that tomorrow will be in closed session telling us why, once again, we can't get there from here. So I will consent to continuing this one day to tomorrow with an assurance that we'll be in closed session and this item will be asked and answered.
All right, Madam Clerk, can you confirm that for us?
Yes, Mr. President. So for the record, item number 15 will be continued, as well as Amendment McCosker Park will be continued to Wednesday, December 3rd,
That's it, Ian.
along with the closed session companion piece that is related to this matter will also be on the continuation agenda for December 3rd. That will be issued today, sir.
All right. So that'll be the order, and we'll resume this discussion tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody.
Like Ian just said, you wouldn't have to keep pushing it
All
back
right,
if
Madam
you
Clerk,
actually
what's
went to work and didn't take off fucking 10
Next
days for
would
Thanksgiving.
be item 21, and that was called special by Councilmember Hutt. There is an amendment, Hutt-McCosker, that's
2 weeks
been
even,
submitted and circulated.
All right. Any comments,
We didn't
Councilmember?
knee
All
bend
right, let's
to
open
every
the roll on that
religious
item.
group and every
Close the
minority.
roll, tabulate
Maybe
the vote.
we'd have the time to fix the city. But that doesn't matter.
15 ayes.
The knee
All right,
bending's
what's
more
next?
important, so we keep the votes coming.
Next would be
Get all the morons
item
in line.
22. There are several amendments. So the first vote for item 22 is item 22C, and that is motion Rodriguez-Lee.
All right, we've got a number of items
Nothing,
before us.
Nemo.
I'd ask if the CAO's office could come forward.
They are all so lazy.
I'm sorry, wrong item. All right, so let's consider the first amending item on number 22. Sorry, I got ahead of myself, folks. All right, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Next would
Yeah,
be
she's the only one,
amendment
Kablanki,
22B, and
that
that
didn't
is motion
get voted in.
Blumenfield
She's the only one that
Rodriguez.
just got pushed in
All
because
right,
she's
let's
Kumala
open
Harris.
the roll on that item, close the roll.
For the sake of
tabulate the vote.
democracy, we didn't have a black woman on
14
here.
ayes, one
so
no.
we needed to have one.
All right.
We needed a
what's
black
next?
female. So we got one. We didn't have one.
Next would
So we
be
needed one.
amendment
So she was installed, not
22A,
voted
and
on.
that is
All in the sake of
motion
democracy.
Gerardo
Kind of like Kumala
Hernandez.
Harris to try to have that,
All right.
that coup.
Let's open
She's
the roll.
Kumala Harris.
Councilmember Jurado.
She tried to create a coup. This one didn't have to create the coup. She was just installed because she's a black woman.
Let's make sure her sound is working for CD14.
Have a good day.
Hold on,
Uh-oh,
Councilwoman.
uh-oh, the openly gay Filipinos mic's not on. We got to hear her because she's so important. The cop-hating cunt.
There
Let's
we
go.
Colleagues, I want to
Thank
start
you,
by
DEI
saying
hire.
clearly, I support our city's commitment to build affordable housing faster.
DEI
And I
sound
believe in
guy?
our responsibility to deliver housing for those who need it most. But I have to raise a serious concern about what's before us today. It puts rent-stabilized housing at real risk of displacement, especially in neighborhoods in my district like Boyle Heights and Lincoln Heights. This proposal only protects RSO buildings with 12 units or more, but that threshold simply doesn't reflect the reality in my district. In Boyle Heights, out of the 4,400 RSO properties, only 10 would be excluded from the streamlined process. If we keep the exemption at 12 units, moderate RSO buildings in Boyle Heights become vulnerable to demolition under a by-right process. No hearings, no appeals, no voice from the community. What you're doing is streamlining displacement of communities of color, historically Latino working-class neighborhoods that have our undocumented immigrants that have a closer commute to their office. So this isn't a hypothetical concern. This is development with displacement. Yes, we want to build more affordable housing, but for whom and what cost? I guess the cost of the 4,490 RSO properties in that neighborhood. We're talking about buildings that serve as the foundation of multi-generational housing, where grandparents care for their grandkids, where neighbors support each other, and where immigrant and working families have found stability for decades. That's why I introduced the amendment to lower the exemption from 12 units to 5 units. This is a small but necessary adjustment to make sure the streamlining process doesn't unintentionally become a pathway to demolish the very affordable homes our families rely on. When we talk about affordable housing in this body, do we ever talk about the current residents that live currently in affordable housing, or are we just intending to develop over them until they're no longer here? We can have development without displacement.
And so this amendment, I ask for your support, or I ask your consideration to bring it back to committee so we can discuss this further and look at the data. Because right now, the exemption only allows for 19% of the RSO units to be exempted. And what I'm asking for is actually 36% of the RSO units to be exempted. And guess where most of them are? CD14. Thank you.
Oh, those white people are in CD14, I take it? Mabuhay!
Mabuhay! The amendment. I pick up the mic. Number 5, request the city attorney to incorporate the provisions of request number 4 relative to the number of units, comma, into chapter 1, period.
Councilmember Hernandez? Okay. All right.
Just can't outright say how much she hates white people.
Great. Well, I'd like to get planning to answer some questions on this.
Sure. We'll ask a representative from
She won't get
Department
that
of City
white
Planning
vote.
to join us at the center table.
Because it means my understanding, mayor's office.
Yeah,
has a
she
lot of
called out
concerns
the other
about this,
gay folks there, Ray. She said,
the
I'm the
concern
only
is
openly gay.
this in
She
many
literally
ways
said
cuts
that
the
in front
legs
of
out from
everybody.
under the
Obviously
effectiveness of
calling out the
ED1.
ones who are gay and
It
not
doesn't change
open
the
about
zoning,
it.
as
It's
I
none of our
understand, in terms
business.
of which
But when you
buildings
make it
can
our
or
business,
cannot be
that's another
demolished.
story.
But it's basically saying if there's a 5 bungalow unit or something to that effect, and someone wants to build a 100 unit, and they're deciding to do that, they can't go through. They can't use ED1 to permit those 100 units of affordable housing. So if I could get planning's perspective on this, on why was it chosen in the mayor's ED1 to be 12 units? What is the impact, in your perspective, on the efficacy of ED1 if we go down to 5 units?
Thank you, council members. Kevin Keller, Executive Officer, City Planning, here with Matt Glesney. It's a policy issue in front of the council today. The original ED1 did not include any language about RSO demolition. RSO demolition is covered by Ellis Act, the Residential Protection Ordinance, other ordinances that have recently been adopted, and not all programs in the city have specific call-outs for RSO units. In 2024, the mayor amended ED1 to include a 12-unit threshold. It was the first threshold, and it was responsive to, I think, some of the issues that had been seen where larger projects had come in with significant amounts of RSO housing that were being redeveloped for, slightly more housing. That threshold was set at 12 in the executive directive.
Not Rick Simpson
That was
oil.
what was rolled over
It's
into
rent
the ordinance that's in
stabilization
front of
ordinance,
you today. The ordinance in
RSO.
front of the council today generally mirrors and matches the adopted and functioning
Basically,
ED1
rent
program,
control units.
that the city's been using. I can hand it over to Matt to just give some high-level data on the overall program, but I think like the council members have said, there are instances where projects are moving forward with units under 12 but more than 5. So that's a policy call, but it would further limit the ability in this case of affordable housing to be built on those properties.
I could just provide, this is Matt Glesney, City Planning, just some data that we have. Council members shared some data on the overall RSO stock. We took a look quickly at actually ED7 projects and their impacts on RSO units. I know Councilmember Nazarian had asked for that earlier. So if that's helpful, I could just give some data here. So we've approved about 32,000 units of affordable housing through ED1 in about 450 projects. Of those, about 168 did require the demolition of some RSO units. It's about 37% of the projects. Based on an average demo of about 4.7 units per site, that is about the demolition of about 780 units. It's a significant number, but should be viewed in the context of the overall number of affordable housing units that were being built through that program. Again, more than 31,000 units. So that's a ratio of about 40 affordable units being created for every RSO lost. That's not to diminish the concern, which is very real, and the balancing of preservation and tenant protections and production, especially of affordable housing, is a really difficult issue, and I will obviously defer to the council here on what you want to do about that. This change from 5 to 12 would potentially impact about 8% of ED1 projects, if that helps, based on past data. We don't know if they would convert to market rate, if they would just not happen. what would happen, but that's our estimation of what would be impacted, if that helps the discussion.
Hi, Wes.
But yeah, this is a difficult issue and where to find that. I will just maybe just underline, this was put in place, the 12-unit limit, which is unique in planning ordinances to have a sort of threshold like that, was put in before the adoption of the resident protection ordinance.
The Russians.
And in some ways may have been a stopgap
He's got
to
rid of his
those
accent
enhanced
pretty well.
protections. And just really quickly, so make sure everyone knows. So there is protections for every low-income tenant that is
Dos
dislocated,
Vidania.
displaced,
Igor
including
beaten
significant
off.
relocation, now $100,000 up to for every dislocated tenant. Every dislocated low-income tenant also has the right to return to that new building in a comparable unit. They have the right to return if the project doesn't proceed. So just want to make sure council was also aware of those protections that really were meant to try to address this perplexing issue of the right balance. But we'll happy to answer any more questions.
Councilmember Rahman.
I just had a question about the number of
noodle
units that have been entitled over time. Can you just talk about under ED1 number of applications like in the last quarter or previous quarter, and compared to last year at this time or the previous year at this time?
Thanks, guy.
Well, we're trying to get that data up for you. I mean, there's been a decline from where it was a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand how steep the decline has been. And colleagues, you know, I think ED1 has changed significantly from its original
How so?
form.
Certainly not here, Mad Trees.
And some ways, I think,
How so?
beneficially, some ways,
Where are you talking
I think
about?
in ways that have undermined the effectiveness of the intent of the ordinance. And we have a new CHIP program that I think does a better job of building the housing where we need it. It's fairly thought out. And, you know, I think has a better overall kind of shape to the system across the entire city than what ED1 has become after all of these changes. And I just wanted to understand the effectiveness as well.
I wonder if she's going to the duty festival in India.
I do recall
where they throw
looking
duty at each
the,
other.
The changes. It was sort of a peak. I think last
get
summer. I
sense
believe
of the scale.
it may be as much as 1/6 the number of units that we're seeing come in the door today versus the peak. Now we can't say that's all because of changes made. There's a lot of adjustment in the marketplace as you know.
Her last name is
there's a lot of
Ramen.
issues around Section 8 vouchers and the availability of those. There's
Bronco.
This
That's
is
why
something
we
that a lot
call
of
her
people bet
Noodle.
on early on.
I don't.
Maybe it's not
Her
working out as
nickname
well.
was
We've heard a lot
Noodle,
of
given
mixed
to her by
things.
other
There's a lot of-
people.
So we wouldn't want to assign
Not me.
blame, but
Because her last
there
name
has
is
been a decrease,
Ramen.
yeah.
Yeah, so if it's 1/6
Noodle.
of what it was in this quarter versus what it was a year
Or
ago or 2
Raman.
years ago, what also are the number of entitlements that have actually resulted in units being built or even starts?
Yeah,
housing
there's
starts?
a duty fest, Billy.
Yeah.
Look it up. Just
So I think
Google
the last
fucking
time I looked
India
at this, maybe
Duty
a month
Fest
or two
or
ago,
Duty
roughly
Festival.
about
See
40
what it
of
is.
the like 400 projects have been actually permitted, gone all the way, and
All of them
started
slopping
construction with
around in
building
like a
permit.
duty-filled lake, throwing
So about
duty at
10%
each other.
of the
About
total?
10%. I mean, there's always a
Pretty
lag
nasty.
of people still in permitting, but it's also not. It's also very difficult.
Everybody must
building
be walking
environment.
out
You
with
gotta get
red eye.
construction loans,
And
so.
the entitlements expire after like 2
Affected
years,
eyes.
right?
Sorry,
The entitlements expire after 2 years.
I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3 years, but there is an expiration. Yeah.
Do you have the number, the first number that I was asking for?
Yeah, I believe it's 3 years, Councilmember.
Okay. And do you have the number of the permits from last quarter versus, or even last month versus the same month last year?
This is Kevin Keller. We did pull that data. I don't know if we have it here today, but you're correct. Overall, the applications into the ED1 program have continued, but they have declined since the summer of 2024.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess I would just say, colleagues, you know, I think I'm happy to, I supported this in committee. I'm not sure how
They throw
useful
cow
this
shit at each
program
other.
is as-
Sorry, it's cow
in terms
shit.
of pushing for actual new units.
Look, he's got cow shit on his head in the middle here.
changes that we're making
That's
today
cow
are
shit
gonna
on his
further
head.
cut into the ability of people to
That's
be able
them
to
throwing
use it.
shit on each
but it may
other.
not make that much of an impact anyway, given how limited the program has already been. I
Who
just wanted
born
to
in
draw people's
India?
attention
Why
to that.
villagers throw cow shit at each other?
I supported it in committee. I will continue to support it today, but
And people
I think
pay
it
to
has
go
already
there.
lost
Holy
some of
fuck.
its original potency, and I think we should be looking to an analysis of the CHIP program to really understand how we
Crazy,
can generate
bro.
more housing. Thank you.
Paying to go to a place.
Councilmember Hurtado.
Crazy.
Thank you,
Yes, it is,
Planning
Karen.
Department.
Every
I
day
just
is.
wanted to clarify. So if we made the material change, it would only affect the 8% of the applicants that we currently have. So it seems nominal and persuasive for me, and I hope that for other colleagues that will be as well. The other thing that I want to point out is from my experience,
That's it, Kevin.
which is not a lot, but I think aren't rent-controlled units that have different maintenance.
I don't
that
lie
are
to you
older
about anything
buildings,
on this show,
maybe
ever.
cheaper
You need to know that.
in a
ever.
market that is depressed to be preyed upon. And those are the ones that people actually
he's a
want to buy,
victim.
demolish, and rebuild. And so rent-controlled units and LIHTC with their covenants expiring without a resyndicator, those are all up for grabs in a market like this to redevelop over. And the cost ends up being the human lives of our constituents who come here day in, day out, who came for our cap the rent at 3% movement. And those are the lives that we're currently talking about. And if we can't protect our current residents from being developed over, which is our primary duty as council members with our land use authority, then what are we doing here? And it's only 8%. So I'm asking you colleagues to reconsider. I wish my voice didn't break at that moment, but I really hope you reconsider. Thank you.
All right.
The freedom
Seeing no other
fighter,
comments
everybody.
on this item, Madam Clerk, if you can just restate what's
Long
before
as you
us
aren't
and,
white.
we can open the roll.
What is before council now is 22A, and that is motion Gerardo Hernandez as amended by motion Gerardo Hernandez.
All right. Before we call the question, we got Mr. Nazari and Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you, Council President. When I saw this motion, I was wholeheartedly ready to support it, especially given the initial wording because it limited to CD 14 itself. But in your amendment, you've expanded it to the entire city, which I also appreciate because I've had concerns over this myself in my own district. I have a project that is going to demolish 5 units and build 103 with no parking in a already overcapacity collector street. All in the name that because it's a block away from the orange line, it will ensure that all 103 unit tenants will be utilizing that mode of transportation, which is a very big assumption. So I completely understand. And by the way, the 5 units are also RSO. But the balance is somewhere in between. When we take action like this to impact the entirety of this city, we are also diminishing the intent of something that was meant to provide more affordable housing. So instead of voting on this now,
late, California.
would this body be amenable for this item to go back to committee so we can find a better balance on how we address the issue that has come up by my colleague from CD14, because I do appreciate that and I think it's extremely valid. But lowering it down all the way to 5 units for the entirety of the city, I think could have consequences that we don't want.
You missed public comment, Cash.
All right. So that's a motion to continue the complete item or just this. I guess we have to do the complete item if we don't do this amendment. But I got Mr. Blumenfield on the queue.
That's exactly what I was going to speak to. Can we just, because I think it's important, if we're serious about housing, ED1, whether it's not as effective as it's been, but it's been a very effective tool to get a lot done, we should move forward with it, maybe push this amendment to the committee, just like some of these other amendments are really going to the committee.
We should be listening to the county meeting right now. They're talking about
instructing them to request
CHP and sheriff talking about curtailing street racing and street
the other ones are
takeovers.
instructing them to do something. So along that vein, if we could
should be watching.
send A to the committee to really get into what is that balance, what are the trade-offs, but not slow down the actual ED1. I think that would make sense, and I would put that forward as an option to send item A to committee, but to move forward with the underlying ED1.
All right, so the motion is to refer the amendment to committee. Councilmember Hernandez?
Sorry,
yes.
Yeah, they're done with the city council.
Councilmember Blumenfield just said that a lot of great stuff has happened under ED1. How many units have been built under ED1?
12.
Hi, Councilmember. I don't think we have a number of constructed units. We were just checking our dashboard, and it looks like as of July, there are currently 44 projects that are under construction. 44. And that's about 2,500 units.
And none of them are
as
done.
far as completed, I don't know that I could speak to that.
Not a one.
How many since the beginning of ED1? Is it 40,
that's
4,400?
I've got 2,500.
Oh, sorry,
under
2,500.
construction.
44 projects. Okay, 44 projects. Okay, anything else, Councilmember?
No, just I'm glad that y'all brought that up because that's great. And I think I've only seen so far some of the negative impacts. I don't know if y'all remember Toland Way and that conversation that we had. And now we're trying to figure out how we use ULA money to buy that building. Luckily, the property owner has been amenable to those conversations. But I had 17 families on the line to be displaced under ED1. So for us, we've been on the receiving end of the not so good part. So that's why I wanted to hear if there has been movement on actually construction and if there has been expediting of that. Because it's worrisome on some of us that have been on the opposite side of it.
All right, so I think, Madam Clerk, what's before us is to continue.
Holy shit, she's getting roasted.
The amendment.
Mr. President, so for 22A, does council wish to refer this to the Planning and Land Use Management Committee?
If there's no objection, that'll be the order. Councilmember Jurado?
Can we refer to H&H as well?
Refer to H&H as well.
Yes, so for the record, 22A will be referred to the Planning and Land Use Management Committee as well as Housing and Homelessness Committee.
All right, what's next?
So what the final vote is now is...
What a DEI meeting.
20, we've already... Got it. Okay, Councilmember Hernandez, 20 to comment on the entire package.
Comment on in 22B. This one came fairly quickly. I have William Mead, which is a HACLA project in my district, and I know other council offices have HACLA buildings in their district. This motion particularly goes after HACLA and what it's doing. I would like to reconsider the vote and send it back to committee, please.
You got like 3 seconds.
Okay, so
So we need a vote to reconsider that?
Yes.
All right.
So 22B, just real quick, the vote to reconsider is now before council.
All right, let's open the roll on reconsideration.
John,
close the roll.
what's wrong with them
tabulate
is
the vote.
they're all incompetent and they're there
59.
because of who
Mr.
they
Bloomfield?
are and not because they're the best
I'm happy
for
to
the job.
consider it and
That's
send
what's
it back,
wrong,
but
John.
just to be clear,
Every
this isn't
single one of
actually
them you see,
22B.
including this
They
man
asked
and
us to
all
do
of
this
them,
at the last minute.
are
You're
all
right.
token
But it's just
DEI
an
hires.
instruction, the way I look at it, to prepare the ordinance, establish
He's the token
performance
Jewish guy.
standards. It's not actually, we're not actually.
They needed a
doing it.
Jewish guy. There you
So
have.
either way, whether we send it back to committee to
Yeah,
look
you
at
needed the
instruction
Armenian,
again,
you
or
got
they
it.
do it.
Got an
fine either
Irishman,
way.
got a black
But
man,
just to be
got a
clear,
black woman because we didn't have any black women.
We were not voting on amending
Got
the
an
ordinance,
openly
underlying
gay
ordinance
Filipino woman.
to do this. I would have been uncomfortable with that as well.
got it all.
Given that they just
That's
brought
what's
this to
important.
us today. But I am comfortable with us
Not merit.
instructing them to do it or having the
Not
committee
being
look
the
at
best.
instruction.
That
Either
doesn't
way,
matter.
I do think HACLA
Because you have a
has
vagina
point,
and you're
but
retarded,
we should look at that.
you got the job
Thank you,
because
and
we
I
needed a
hope
retarded
hears
vagina
me
then.
when I say this, please come to us as well for those districts that have these properties, so that we can have the conversation. 'Cause
Sad.
Now
It's identity
we haven't had the
politics.
conversation,
Exactly,
and
Black Mama.
it would be good to have it in committee.
I have no problems
All
with
right, so,
hiring all
we're gonna
different types
refer
of
that
people.
item,
I have a problem with
if
hiring
there's no
them
objection,
because
we'll
of who
refer
they
that
are,
item to
not because they were
Planning
the
and
best
Land
for
Use
the job.
Management
That's
Committee.
the problem.
Right
and
there,
housing and
in a nutshell.
homelessness.
Stop hiring people that are not.
Can council do a quick vote on the referral, please, for 22B?
Bro, they got the people from
We need a vote on
Snapchat
referral.
in
I
here
just
talking
referred
about
the other
street
one without a
racing.
vote.
We need to be in the county meeting right now. What are we doing
All
here
right.
at the city meeting? Oh, boy.
Let's open the roll on those referrals, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right, so there we go.
Okay, and now the final vote is item
Tons,
22.
you know what I
That's
mean.
the plum
He claims
report
to
as
be.
amended by motion
What was it? Gaelic and garlic. That's his go-to. Gaelic and garlic.
That is motion Rodriguez.
All right, let's open the roll on that item, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right,
Who's
there we go.
they?
All right, thank you,
Mad
Department of
trees.
City Planning. What's next?
Who's they?
Next would
Is that
be
everybody?
item 23,
Does one
sir,
white person
and
may have said a
the
bad
first
thing to
vote is on the motion Park, Nazarian, McCosker, and that is a motion to adopt the ad hoc LA recovery report
I know
as
you're
well
playing
as the ordinance that's on file.
All right, so it looks like we have at least two reports and an additional amendment for this. I'm going to ask the CAO's office to come forward and to explain the difference between the variance between the reports that are before us.
We don't want no variant report.
Hello, good afternoon, Yolanda Chavez.
Oh, yes, Yolanda. I know. You're the best ever, Yolanda. Good old Yoli's in the house, everybody. Yoli's in the home. Hang on a sec here. I don't want to stay here long because these motherfuckers go long.
And so really braiding all of those strategies together, I believe.
Now we're in the county.
Is what's leading us.
The city to the county now of Los Angeles.
And I'm really pleased and want to continue to see it. From your perspective, if anyone could give me what you think contributed to the significant decrease in takeovers, but not only in the second district, but really on average countywide. Is it our better data collection? Is it the cumulative effect of all of the strategies?
There's still plenty of those street takers going on. We hear them every goddamn Friday
Commander
night.
Terrence Bell, and as you said, Supervisor, good morning to all the supervisors.
And the
first
sheriff.
of all. So just a collaborative approach of this, as you stated before, this working group. As you stated 2 years ago, where we were all kind of doing our separate things. As
No,
far as
Junior
law
Wade.
enforcement,
You guys didn't want me to do a
public
show
works and
tonight. You
everything.
guys said you
But
wanted
when
me to do a
obviously
show
when
on my
you brought
birthday
this
on
group
Sunday.
together,
So
it made a tremendous
I
impact.
said no show
on
Tuesday.
approaching this phenomenon.
He's a
and
commander,
making
huh?
The awareness, and I do support, like you stated before, the awareness with the juveniles, making sure that they're given the knowledge to obviously the choice not to go out there, not to partake in a street takeover. So that's one aspect. But what I've seen
we're gonna do a Friday
in the
night
past
show
several months
and a Sunday
is,
night show this
is
week.
that collaborative approach to
celebrate
law
my birthday
enforcement.
with
And
me.
it's not just saying just enforcing.
Or we could
just
do it tonight,
enforcement,
and I
but
can
it's
have my
also
birthday by
obviously,
myself. You guys
educating
choose.
the
I don't
public
give a
and
shit.
the
Maybe
people
I'll
that
put
are
a poll up.
that we are targeting.
Let you
But
guys
there
choose.
has been an enforcement approach that really stands out. That enforcement approach is the collaboration that we have with the Los Angeles Police Department, with the California Highway Patrol, and with the Sheriff's Department. And we're as far as
No Tuesday
leaders
after
in
B-Day?
that,
Why?
and then other municipal agencies
going
too
on?
that are participating. But that has taken a real significant approach in including our deterrents. The deterrents have made, when we put a deterrent in, it pretty much, that location, that intersection, it's none. That is correct. The infrastructure there, those,
I'm not a
those
Scorpio,
deterrents,
I'm a
those
Sagittarius.
extended mediums, it stops the street takeover from occurring at that intersection.
Sag,
And so
man.
with that being said, those what I've seen is one of the reasons why we've seen a reduction in SD2.
Hasn't
But
been
then also I want to give credit to the district attorney's office because we've had, some serious offensive, felonious behavior at some of those events, and the district attorney's office has prosecution, and some of those cases are still ongoing. So you got to give them credit. And then obviously, like I said, from the leadership of each police agency, from Sheriff Luna's vision and working together with our county and
Happy
other
birthday.
law enforcement
Happy birthday.
agencies.
Very New Year.
Happy birthday, you thing from another world, you.
Happy birthday, Master. We've seen this reduction, but we're not going to stop.
Or for tomorrow.
And but when we have that reduction, there might be an increase in some of the other areas. And
Of course, because they just go from one area to the next.
You're
welcome.
I know this is a little long answer, but
Come on now.
but what we've seen in the increase
We all know that.
in another area is because of what the Sheriff's Department has done. We have dedicated a special
We'll celebrate on
radio
Friday.
code
Remind me Friday.
to street takeovers. At first, it was all mixed in together with street racing and everything else. Now we have a set radio code for street takeover events. And so, with that being said, when some of these individuals decide to go to a different area, and say in SD4's area, now our deputies are, tracking that information, and that information is being, as far as data collected, and as over in Century Station, that's primarily where it's happening. Now we have a specialized team that we are training to make sure that they understand
You
to
listening,
work
Salty
together
5-0?
just how we do in SD2's area.
Probably at
So we're
work
all
right
working
now.
together, working with the CHP in that area to combat that area, and then also we want to install some deterrents over there too. So it's a plan that we are still working out together, and that's the approach that we're taking.
Well, it is never the goal for them to move. The goal is for it to end. And so I think by setting up the infrastructure, this process, this coalition, we will get better and better at coming to an end. So we've heard so much from law enforcement about the importance of infrastructure. You want to talk a little bit about where we're going next with regard to the bots and all of the tools you have in your toolkit to
Bots? Huh? What are we talking about bots for?
Yeah, Steve Berger, Public Works. I'll talk a little bit about infrastructure and how we're using what we're learning to focus where we put the infrastructure. As Commander Bell said, we're using the intel from where these events are happening, and then we're using the intel on how our interventions are working. Some work, some don't. The extended medians work very well in certain intersections, and some they don't. And then, of course, as we see either this moving or we're seeing that there are areas such as Walnut Park and SD4, we're now saying, how do we concentrate on that? So, for example, there's an intersection that we're going to be putting interventions in January, and we're going to track that. And this is at Pacific and Hope Street. So that's kind of the hot spot out there right now. We're going to take a look at that, see if that doesn't work. We're going to look along the whole corridor. Another thing we're doing is, now that we're seeing this is working, we're working to increase our capacity, our throughput, to put more of these in faster. So we're doing this with our public works staff. They're frankly stretched pretty thin. They're the same folks that fix our streetlights, our traffic signals, our signs. So we're going to go out with contracting capacity to get these in. We're going to be working with your offices on funding. Right now, you see we're spending about $1 million a year. We'd like to spend more than that and start putting these in now that we see they're working. So it'll be a collaboration with the community, with your offices, and with our partners here. And we think now's the time to say, let's do more of these.
I think, as you talk about needing more resources for that, we should really balance that out with what we're saving in other areas in terms of street destruction and public property destruction, both unincorporated communities as well as the municipalities. I hear from the mayor of Compton all the time, and from residents from the city of Compton in terms of what they're paying to repair their streets. So even though we talk about an investment, we should understand just in terms of infrastructure. Mr. Hernandez, thank you for being here. I appreciate that you were very receptive to the letter we sent to Snapchat earlier this year. So can you tell us how your company is going to help mitigate the promotion of the illegal activity on your platform, and how you're going to help us bring some of your colleagues along to join you?
Thank you, and just thank you for the opportunity. And just at the outset, I will say this takes all of us, nonprofit, private, public sector, to stamp out this issue. And so we were happy to come to the table and do what we can as a social media platform to make sure this issue is addressed. So I will say from the outset, Snapchat uses a combination of proactive detection and human moderation when it comes to things as this, street takeovers or any kind of harmful content that is on our platform. So we have people in place to actually look for this content, but we also use algorithms to search for terms that might indicate any kind of harmful content.
Hear
So
that,
in
snappers?
this instance, we have teams at Snapchat that are looking at street takeovers or slang
Active
used
censoring.
for street takeovers to scrub our platform to make sure that these posts are taken down in a timely manner. We are different from other social media platforms in that we don't have live streaming or public broadcasting, but still we are taking those steps to actually make sure that this content is taken down once it's reported or proactively.
I appreciate that very much. Any suggestions on how we might encourage some of your colleagues in social media to join the bandwagon?
You know, I definitely think an invitation to the task force would be something that I think they would welcome. We're happy to sit on the task force as well and share ideas on a daily basis. We share intel on things on our platforms related to.
Well, next Tuesday I'm going to be doing the show,
drugs,
Colonel.
opening it up to
why I
something
wouldn't
like
do it
street
next
takeovers
Tuesday.
and having that
What's going on next
industry
Tuesday?
sharing would be something that would be welcome. But I think just having them at the table and having these conversations would be a good start.
And I would like to add, because I want to give credit to Wesley and the work that he has done. He actually has reached out to 4 other major platforms and got them involved. They have all now agreed to scrub their sites. They've already done a initial cleaning of their sites of these types of posts, and they've all agreed to give us free ad credit for any social media posts that we put up. And that really is a testament to Wesley reaching out to his partners. So he's been tremendously helpful.
In the season of Thanksgiving, Mr. Hernandez, we're
When's
thankful
public
to you
comment
and
about
everybody,
this?
On the task
When do
force.
we
I
get
appreciate
public
it
comment
and
on
its leadership. Last question for me, Madam Chair, to Highway Patrol. I'm trying to flip through and find the slides.
It's good.
Help me put your data in context.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Captain Diaz here. So our data captures every call that someone in the public, when they call 911 and the call is logged to our dispatch center, they're reporting a potential street takeover, a reckless driving, any 23109 activity, if you will.
So what's the bigger net?
It is a huge net,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
And we have that detailed to the intersection, which allows us to track which ones are busier than others, gives us information that we could pass along to Public Works so that they can identify the problem areas so that they can better target those specific intersections.
Got it. Again, I can't thank you all enough for the work that you have done. I think that we've kind of hit our groove.
Definitely on the cheeseburger.
Look forward to continuing to see the numbers come down across the county. Just the numbers are impressive in terms of the outreach, the number of young people have been touched, the number of public forums. We had a member of the public call last Tuesday's board meeting who had to take over in their community, and they're like, what's going on? I was like, stay tuned, next board meeting. I hope they are listening and seeing the data that we are making progress. If there is still a takeover on your block, it doesn't mean the county isn't doing anything. We now have the data to show that we're tracking it. We're getting better data in terms of infrastructure, what works, what doesn't work. So I really want to express my appreciation to all of you for the work that you're doing. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Yes, I wanted to just jump on your questioning of Snapchat. And Carrie, it sounds really great that you're able to get other social media involved. Can we get a report on that, just in terms of what that means, like what they have done already and where we can go with it? I think it would be helpful so we continue to engage with them.
Absolutely. We included some very brief information in this report, but we can certainly add more detail to our following report on that.
Yeah, I think it's commendable. Thank you, Wesley, for doing that. It's great. And I think that's the kind of interaction we want with private industry, and especially since those are the mediums that the young folk are using. So we really do appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll turn down Supervisor Hahn for questioning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, Supervisor Mitchell, you have a season of Thanksgiving because the incidents went down in District 2, but on closer evaluation of the numbers, they went up in District 4. So
no change. They just went to the other area.
But it just seems like you're kind of playing a game of whack-a-mole a little bit, right?
It's
I mean,
exactly
it
what
goes
you're
down,
playing.
but they show up somewhere else.
That's it.
So I feel like you haven't taken a comprehensive view or being able to anticipate, right, where they're going to be.
That's
and
it.
I think just to
Reactive, not proactive.
say, oh, well, it's great they've gone down in this district when, you know, they've gone up another district is really not going to get us to our end game, which is really to cut down on these street takeovers. I know, clearly we know what works, right? The deterrents in District 2 have worked because the incidents have gone down dramatically. But in my district, for instance, in Walnut Park, you know, and my staff has noticed the same problems with Sunday Fun Day in Walnut Park. I've been bringing this up at every presentation. I think since March, I've been asking when the installation of the deterrents would happen in Walnut Park. This is the first time I heard you say it will be January, but that's, you know, we're kind of losing the game if that's how we're operating.
Oh,
right?
you're now figuring that out?
And this is an area that was close to the 2nd District, so there should have been some maybe anticipation, like, okay, if they're not here, are they going to just migrate here? And you should have been way ahead of the game in terms of those barriers and deterrents in the 4th District as well. So I feel like if you're just going to keep going report to report and seeing where they end up next time is not, in my opinion, really being scientific or, you know, being data driven. So.
Or being effective. Effective.
I know
the word's effective.
Everybody's trying, and we got a good task force. I know we've got obviously things that work, but I'm concerned, you know, if they go down in the 4th District, where are they going to pop up next? And can you have a better bird's eye view of the county and our streets and anticipate and know maybe where they're going to show up and get there ahead of them by installing the barriers and the deterrents?
Good luck with that.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, just to respond a little bit to your obviously your statement, Supervisor. Just wanted to give you some context, especially when it comes to Century Station. That Captain Minot over at Century Station is very active with the community and explaining to them that we're taking a very active approach as far as addressing it with the current enforcement that we have. And it is, like you said, Supervisor, it is tough to, let's just say that this is a phenomenon that's happening across the nation. As you can see, what happened in New York and all these other places in Chicago, it continues to evolve. So as it continues to evolve, law enforcement has to evolve with the street takeover phenomenon. But what I say all this to say is that, yes, there are deterrents that are going to be strategically infrastructure being placed in that particular area. And we've seen what works in SD2. So when we say that, hey, can we just immediately apply it, we definitely still have to see, is this going to work over in SD4? But my whole thing is this, is that those same approaches that we are doing in the SD2, we're trying to apply those same principles and everything over in SD4, SD1, and all the and the whole county.
You have to wait a little bit. You have to analyze whether or not it's going to work.
It also comes down to staffing also sometimes too, because when we take that approach and put a number of people in SD2's area, then sometimes it takes away from SD4. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to address the issue and the problem, because we're going to follow the problem where it goes.
I haven't heard a good answer of how you're going to address this issue of illegal takeovers just changing locations and moving from one district to another. I haven't heard a good explanation of how you're actually
I'm just going to follow them around, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit. As I mentioned, we want to, and this is one of the reasons we want to accelerate our installations. For example, in Walnut Park, we have the north-south, east-west corridors, And although we were focusing on where the activity is, like you said, if we strategically say the whole corridor needs some form of treatment, it may not be the whole treatment. It may be these rubber delineators only. But the idea is if you put those in at every intersection that's a certain size, then you can achieve what you're looking for. So that is actually one of the reasons we're looking at that contracting capacity.
And when do you think, I mean, is that the January target you were talking
Well,
about?
so the January is for the intersection where we know that the activity is occurring, but like you said, we don't want to squeeze that balloon and have it pop out
Right.
somewhere else, right? So, so yeah, we'll take a look at the corridors. I think the next report we'll look at a corridor-wide implementation.
Right. And, you know, honestly, this is not that jurisdictional or territorial. It's not just because, oh, they went down in your district and they went up. That's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is I feel like this is a losing game if they're just changing locations. We seem to have what works in one area, and then they just pick up and move to another area, and then we kind of scramble, and you have to look at the data, and, you know, is this going to work here? I feel like we're losing with that approach. So I'm hoping that next time you will have a more comprehensive, you know, anticipation. Get ahead of them, you know, understand where they're going next and stop them before it happens. Because again,
it's easy for her to say.
In Walnut Park, we're lucky that, you know, we haven't had, you know, another tragedy there because, again, I've been bringing this up since March. And so to not have any the physical barriers till January, that's a long time. So, you know, let us know what you think is causing the delay. Is that funding? Is that something we need to look at? Because that's really, I know the county moves slow, but, you know, I feel like this is a
self-admitted
game we're trying to get ahead of.
Self-admitted.
And I feel like we're really slow on the uptick on this one.
What's up, Gene?
Thank you.
Okay, before we go to public comment, I do have some questions.
All right,
and I
public
wanna
comment
thank
coming
you,
up.
The panel. And
Let's get it. Hopefully Mr. Herman's there.
Now.
Damn, we're pretty close. I don't know, guys. 127 votes and 54, 53 to 47. We might be doing a show tonight instead of my birthday.
13,
I don't know.
The CHP data, when it shows first district 193, second 291, third and fourth 0, and fifth 21, what is that?
Ma'am, those are the total amount of calls that we received in the quarter.
Number of calls.
Yeah, so these are these are people reporting incidents.
Trump administration to withhold SNAP food aid from Democrat-led states
that's
over
interesting
data.
When I listened to you guys on because it shows. That's why I was a little confused because it shows 0.
I live in the biggest welfare state that there is.
In her unincorporated areas, so I just
40% of the welfare is something like that.
Again,
50%
those
is
are
here.
calls that
Half
are
the welfare is
received
here
by
in California.
Our communication center that prompt a response by our units in whichever area that happens to be.
So we need to tell people to call. Are these 911 calls?
911 calls, yes.
Yeah, you know, I hear you loud and clear, and I'm more than willing to work with you all if AV Fairgrounds is something that is thought. I know that Lost Angels, who actually works with at-risk youth and helps rebuild cars, is the one that brought that forward as a recommendation. I'm more than happy to work with you all. My concern, I have two concerns, and I guess this question is to you, Carrie, or to any of you. How much of the street racing is the thrill of being on the street, defying the laws, versus being in an area that is that you can legally do it, and you've got carte blanche to drag race? I mean, I've heard from people that go out that part of the thrill is the thrill of being out on the street, doing something that is considered outlaw.
I'm going to turn that to our law enforcement partners, but my understanding is in terms of the legalities of it, it's where you have a permit, where you are, people are aware and know that you're
Chris,
doing
hopefully
it.
you can get it, because people that steal it,
to be there, I would
you should get twice what you
anytime
get,
you're
Chris.
doing it in a street, and you don't have
You should
a
be
permit,
getting twice whatever
that
you're
would
getting.
be an illegal activity. Is that correct?
But because of those,
Yeah, that's correct. So
those
it can be done
thieves,
on private property with the prior permissions.
the locusts
and
that are
permits.
stealing it,
It's never legal on a
needs
public
to be gone through.
No, I
Anytime you're on
understand, but what
public
I'm saying, I'm sorry.
They should be
what
giving
I'm
you
saying
double.
is, I think for some of the individuals doing it, it's the thrill of doing something illegal.
Absolutely.
And so, again, I'm more than happy to push out AV Fairgrounds if they're interested in doing it, to work on that. It's a long way away, and we may have drag racing on the 14 freeway, but, you know, so be it. I mean, to your point, I think you just move it.
14.
But I'm
Is that a
happy
Low Valley
to work
freeway?
on that. But I think the numbers speak volumes to the fact that you can bring it down. But it is a whack-a-mole, and it's going to be a whack-a-mole. And the reality
Always
is that we
be
just got to
whack-a-mole.
keep one
Always.
step ahead of it, which brings me to Wesley, who I feel like I've known since he was in diapers. Not quite. But it feels like that. Thank you for the work that you're doing with Snapchat and bringing the other providers or the other, what are they? Not providers.
Platforms.
Platforms, thank you, to the table, because I know that in the past, I think, if
Where's
I'm
TikTok?
not incorrect, there was some resistance in providing or working collaboratively to provide information.
I bet.
And so I appreciate
People don't
your
want to
leadership in doing
spy
that.
on their, or they
And
don't
it's
want to
good to
spy
see
on their
you.
users. It's not good for business.
Thank you.
I want, now I can ask my question.
Or a list of mint to spying on them.
I just wanted to, well, first of all, say thank you for the information that's presented, and glad to see that you're including East Los Angeles in the infrastructure rollout. I note that. I did see the number of street takeovers in our district increase to 10 this quarter, up from 7 last quarter. And I wanted to ask also for DYD, who's here, Mr. Carroll, can you break down how many of the 84 workshops, street racing kills you've held so far that took place in SD1?
True, Ralph.
That information, yeah.
To make my way to the dais. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Board of Supervisors, David Carroll, Department of Youth Development. We do have a breakdown. I did want to kind of preface it with some of the workshops take place in a specific district, but there may be young people that come from other districts. And I'll use an example of our youth summit. We had about 700 people there, about 250 of them were young people. They came from all over the county, but it happened in SD2. So just to give a little bit of context, but the breakdown for SD1 was 8 workshops. There were 48 in SD2, which again was the concentrated area because of the number of street takeovers, 15 in SD3, 14 in SD4, and then 8 in SD5. So we are continuing to look for opportunities with schools to increase that, and I'm happy to report in future reports the breakdown by district as well as even by school or by location.
That would be helpful in the next report. I would
Absolutely,
just
we can
ask-
do that. And we've got that information handy.
Yeah.
I can send it to your
And that's
Justice
good, so
Deputy.
our field staff can get a hold of it and we can push it out if we know in advance.
Absolutely.
That would be helpful. Thank you. For Public Works, the East LA installations that you're planning at Northside Drive, Montebello Parkway, and
You gotta
Southside
spend points just to
Drive on
vote,
Coolidge
Beach?
Way, what is
That's
the
crazy.
anticipated installment date for
Twitch, dude.
those?
Yeah, so those
No
are
wonder they're
actually
failing.
reconfigurations. We already had something there. Remember, I had said sometimes we put them and they just don't work. So we've got a new design. We've completed the design. That's also going in January.
So will they be, you can't tell me what they're going to be?
Oh yeah, they're going to be.
mediums?
What we're doing is that's a very large, or those are 2 very large intersections. So we're narrowing the roadway with delineators and curbs, rubber curbs, to get them in quick, and then we're making the circle in the middle larger with also rubber curbs. The idea is much less room for the people to
curbs?
drift their cars. So we're
Rubber
hopeful this will
curbs.
work. We're going to pilot it, experiment.
Hopefully
if it works.
this'll work.
We're going to put that's another model we know that will work.
You're just
We'll
gonna
put
go
those
to
in.
another place, dummy.
You know, to Supervisor
You
Hans'
couldn't
point,
have
we'll
enough
start
rubber
getting heavy
curbs,
saying these
idiot.
type of intersections are where we want to have these.
Right.
One day you'll
And you
figure it
do community
out.
outreach before you do that?
That's actually happening this month.
Right now?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
No,
that's,
I
that's
get that,
excellent.
but I
I'm
mean,
sure it's all
it's
on
like you
target.
can't do anything
And
with
for
thing with them anyways.
This quarter in our district, we saw 10 takeover incidents, including at least 1 in unincorporated East Los Angeles, City of Industry, and La Puente. Were these incidents associated with other crimes such as assaults, vandalism, or commercial theft that we know of?
Yes, Supervisor, that has been a trend. We have seen some of these street takeovers that occur, especially out in these
That's
areas.
it, Salty.
There's
It's
other
gonna
incidents
continue
that
that way.
they
5
might occur when
million
a street takeover is
to
occurring, and they
redo
might
the
burglarize
lights.
a
5
building.
million.
set a vehicle at the end on fire. So they are attributed to some of these type of felonious incidents.
Apparently,
And
what they've
like I
done though
stated before,
is they've
our approaches
buried
on how
the
we are
conduit
training our staff to
underneath
make
the
sure
ground
that we,
now. So they can't just, if
address
they're
it
not in a
appropriately. And
casing,
our
you can just
goal
open
is
it up
obviously
and
to
go
eliminate.
inside and
It's not
cut the
to
wire.
just reduce. It's obviously to reduce.
Good luck
to
on a
eliminate
fire, though.
Street takeovers in the whole county. That's the whole approach. That's what we teach our staff.
And are we looking at specifically in SD1 corridors where these
Can we get to
events
the public comment,
routinely occur? Is
please?
there like a pattern?
That's some of the information the data collection that we take, and then we'll pass that along. But we don't often have a lot of street takeovers in that area, so we're trying to see if this is just some of the areas where we might do enforcement on Whittier Boulevard on a Sunday night, and then they decide to move over to another area. So we're, that's still
Lowriders are on Whittier
being looked
Boulevard.
at through
Street
analysts
takeovers
and through,
don't happen
information
on Whittier.
data collection.
Right.
And then if
think
we
so.
do see a pattern, we're going to immediately address it and bring it to the working group.
Those are the lowriders, and they
I
don't
guess
like
I
those
won't
street
repeat
takeovers.
what has already
Brings
been said,
heat
but
to them.
The CHP data
They just
for
wanna cruise.
SD1 is 193 as opposed to LA Unified. Yeah, they call, and so when will we get this information disaggregated
so
in the
it's
manner that makes sense for this
Sunday
purpose?
one, okay.
That's something that we're currently
Yeah,
working
we're
on.
at
So going
53 to
forward, we'll have the
47.
same information.
Sunday's
For the
ahead
next
at
quarter,
180
report or
votes
something?
right now
Possibly.
in YouTube.
That's what we're hoping for.
Because that is a large number, but I'd like to know what that is.
Looking like
too.
Sunday it is.
'Cause
I don't know.
want to
We'll
know what
see.
other stresses are going on.
Close.
Because that's a large number. We're second. We're behind you. Second district. So,
Why are
okay.
Saudis so rich? Because they
That's
have
all
the
questioning
resources
I have.
in their country.
Supervisor
Endless
Mitchell, you have
amount
one
of
final?
oil.
I just, again wanted to reinforce
that
that the
petroleum.
whole motion that created this process was really the goal
Raw
to
oil.
look countywide. But, SD2 staff and team took
That's
the
why
initiative, and
that-
we've held 2 summits that we led, that we invited community-based organizations to, one at Compton College, one at Magic Johnson Park,
And nobody
and brought
to
community members
stop
together
them
where
from
we
drilling.
mapped it out.
Cut that
as we talk about
pipeline
where
out.
they're going next.
None of
we
that.
understand that
Just
it's
drill, baby,
it's
drill.
dynamic,
All
it's,
day
it's
long.
live, and so I would
Sell,
encourage
sell,
my
sell.
colleagues to
All day
consider
long.
convening the community-based organizations and
never
those who are
stops.
impacted in your community to help inform in real life in terms of this is where I live and this is where it's happening. So we were pleased to be able to then invite the task force to those convenings so they could see and hear and talk directly to impacted communities. We were attempting to drive the conversation about what intersections were being impacted consistently. And so I think social media makes it, which is why Snapchat being here, it's really dynamic, but people with lived experience can
Snapchat's
certainly
still a
help
thing? I
inform.
thought TikTok.
This is
All
where
the
they
kids
go
were on TikTok.
on
They should have
Sundays
brought
about
TikTok
this
in
time.
there.
And so I think considering convenings in your community to help inform this process is something folks should consider doing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Supervisor Hahn,
Yeah,
very
just quickly. So at these community, I'm still concerned about the CHP calls and why, in my district, nobody calls. Is that part of the workshops and information that you pass out? Like when you see a street takeover, call 911?
Yeah, we do a very good job of promoting.
Not only
the
that,
fact
Cash,
that
what about
if there's
tires?
any kind of incident in
They're
your
buying
area,
used
please give us a
tires.
call.
Yeah,
Retread.
'cause I do think a lot of people would be, that's not the first thing they think about doing when they see a street takeover is dial 911. So that
Ooh,
seems
it's
to
getting
be
close, 49
something that
to
really
51.
needs to be reinforced.
Getting closer.
Yeah,
We
we
might,
do so at every
might have to do a
community
show tonight. No show Sunday.
Very well. Thank you, panel, and thank you, Supervisor Mitchell. I think we're going to go to public comment.
Finally.
As a final reminder for remote participants to be placed in the
Oh,
speaking
man.
queue to address
Yes or
item
no? Put it in the
17.
chat room. Is
If you have
Jason
not already
Jenkins
done
getting
so,
in?
use the raise hand feature on
I'm
your
gonna
device
say yes.
or press star 3 on your
Jason
telephone
Jenkins
now.
is getting in.
Caller with phone number 909-997, your line is open. Please state your name and begin.
This is Roy Humphreys, Rolling Heights, and I have the golden key for you. We must change, and that's if Google hasn't failed me, we must get a change in the legislation such that all vehicles participating in the street takeover will be sold at public auction within 30 days without exception. Thank you.
That would
Thank
be it.
you.
They used to
Caller
crush the
with phone
cars. They used to
number-
crush them back in the day. when they caught you racing.
850-305, your line is open. Please state your name and begin.
Yes, my name is Jason, and I'm a smoker scan viewer. So the other day, I'm down on Figure with this chick, and I paid her $5 to let me door and shoot up the club. And she was telling
Sir,
me how
this is on
it's-
item 17, the strategic plan to curtail street racing. You can call back during general public comment. Next speaker, please.
Caller, your line is open. Please state your name and begin.
Told you, get in.
Yes, Mel Bailey. With all due deference to Brother Carroll and DYD, I was wondering why is it that we don't hear about any collaboration with probation departments since they have been established as a lead agency when dealing with juveniles. So it was something I've been
Fucking
curious
love
about as
Jason.
we're talking about collaboration. And then the other thing was, if possible, maybe next time, can we identify how CHP has jurisdiction when these are on the streets? I'm only asking because just this past Sunday, I had someone that ran into us on the freeway, and we called 911. CHP came out and said that they, have certain jurisdiction, even though Cardenas, the deputy Cardenas, was very rude. But it seems a little off on the jurisdictional allotment for
Jason.
CHP. So if that can be identified later, thank you.
Well, they are state
Thank you.
troopers.
Claudia
Their
Jerez,
jurisdiction
your
is
line is
everywhere.
open. Please begin.
But when it comes to a report, you have to have that area righted.
Thank you all for taking this as a task force and creating a task force for this. I think that what I would like to say is that this is a reflection of our youth. What is it that they're doing with their time? What is it that they are wanting to express with these takeovers? What is it that they need? It's very important that we need to really recognize that these youth need some new path. They have to get into a car and do cartwheels and destroy property. Why? It's very important that you know that the task force will be a good idea to think about what is this youth want? What is their objective? What are they thinking? It's very, very necessary that this youth be, thought about and analyzed a little bit. Thank you so much for the task force.
What the hell's
Thank
going
you.
on in her background?
There are no other remote speakers to address the board.
it?
The time for the public comment on this item is
At
now
least Jason
concluded.
got in.
Item 17 is a report to be received and filed.
Very good. Hearing no objection, that will be the order.
We will now proceed with general public comment. At this time, we will hear from members of the public wishing to address the board on general public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on the subject matters
Jason's called back.
within the board's jurisdiction,
No
but
way
not
he's
on
not.
items on the meeting agenda.
Talk about
For
Figueroa.
members of the public joining us remotely, please use the raise hand feature
Here he comes.
if you are online, or press star
Here
3
he
if on the
comes.
telephone.
Samuel Brown, your line is open. Please begin.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to, make a record that I believe there was a Brown Act violation because I had signed up to speak for agenda item 4D as well and didn't hear my name called the second time and was unable to offer the comment. But I did want to just briefly allude to the fact that the community of Avocado Heights is very concerned that the land is going to be designated as surplus. We would just ask that the board actually separate this proposal and look into the possibility of working with other allies or other nature conservancies to protect the 3 acres near the San Jose Creek, which is a sensitive ecological area. And it, represents a significant open space opportunity for the county right along our equestrian trail that is used by
Tuesday's the
various
winner
members
right now,
of
guys.
constituencies. And also, it would be consistent with the SGV Greenways proposal and climate resilience goals in the Los Angeles County General Plan 2035.
Thank you. Claudia Jerez, your line is open. Please begin.
Looks like we're doing a show
I
tonight.
just want to say that all the items that we discussed today, I'm so grateful that you've given me the ability to discuss this right now. And
DEI sound guy.
I want to say that this thing about the rule of our immigration that we discussed, I want to say that it's very important that you know that I have, and I know people that work at 4 o'clock in the morning, wake up to go and work at 4 o'clock in the morning. Victimization, abuse, and disenfranchisement is something very real to these people, these immigrants, and you need to know that it hurts. It hurts that people have to treat you that way. They have to look at you and fear you and see you as like you're a nobody. It's very ugly. It feels very ugly inside. And I know these people. You know, I had a tenant of mine that was working, living in my home. They worked at 4 o'clock in the morning. It very much hurts. I can tell you. Thank you so much.
I don't think
Thank
so,
you.
Oscar.
Caller with phone number
Sound like cartoons
850-305.
and
Your line
fighting
is
in the
open.
back.
Please begin.
Yes, my name is Jason. I'm a smoker scan viewer. So the other day I'm down on Figueroa with this chick, and she was telling me how she don't
Sir,
like to celebrate
this is general public comment that is for items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board to act, not on what you're speaking. Next caller, please.
Caller, your line is open. Please begin.
You got to play with them a little bit, Jason.
Thank you, Mel Bailey again. Two things. One, I just wanted to provide a supplemental notice to County Council and the board.
You know, there was street racing on Figueroa the other day. They were street taking it over around me and my hooker. And she was giving me head, and they were spinning around me.
Are, you know, littered with asbestos, and I think for the general safety of not only your employees but also your county constituents that some type of assessment be done. And then I neglected earlier to thank Supervisor Mitchell for bringing forth the drag racing discussion. All right, thank you, and happy holidays to all.
Thank you. Madam Chair and members of the board, that concludes our time for general public comment.
Yeah, see, that's the different about this
We will now
meeting, guys.
with
One
adjournments.
What do you call
Very
it?
good. Let's begin in
one
the order
item,
of 5, 1,
then they
2,
talk
3,
general
and 4.
comment. Next item, general comment. Not like the other one where they just tell you
Yes, I
pick
do.
one of the things to talk
I
about.
move that when we adjourn today, we do so in memory of Paul R. Ignatius.
They're already done.
Former U.S. Secretary of the Navy and U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense, who passed away on November 6, 2025, at the age of 104. Paul was born in Glendale, California, to Armenian immigrant parents. Paul was a distinguished public servant, highly decorated Navy veteran, and cherished member of the Armenian American community.
All right. All right, so that's just how they do it, guys. We got the city in, we got the county in a little bit. That's nice. The city's still blabbing away. They're still talking about shit, whatever they're talking about.
Have to do a budget in the spring that is going to take into account general fund shifts that we're going to have to make. We don't know how much it's going to be. And there was a lot to Councilwoman Park's proposed amendment. And I would like to, before
All right, get your last vote in here, last minute of voting.
Understand what the fiscal implication of that is at a moment when we are already after our first FSR, at least $80 million in the hole for this fiscal year. I don't think it's responsible for us to vote on things when we don't know what the fiscal impact of that is. So I agree with Mr. McCosker that amendment should come back to Budget and Finance. I also am not opposed to voting today on the underlying Budget and Finance report, and then hearing in the next possible, I commit to Councilwoman Park that we will hear at the next possible Budget and Finance Committee meeting once that info is available to us from the CAO, and we can layer back in additional exemptions. We're talking about a couple of weeks, we're not talking about months, but I don't feel comfortable as budget chair moving an amendment that I don't know what the fiscal impact of it is.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. So, Madam Clerk, we've got the last amendment was made by Councilmember Park and seconded by Councilmember Nazarian. If I'm just going to defer to the makers of that motion. Are you comfortable with it going to committee at the next available meeting, or do you want to vote now?
Council President, these folks have been waiting for months. They are dangling in uncertainty with their ALE about to expire. Commitments were already made to these folks by the mayor months ago.
And
it has
they've all
us
came here and licked her ass
months
today.
To get us here. So I understand, and nothing that Councilwoman Yaroslavsky said is wrong. In fact, it is a head scratcher to me that we are sitting here today without the numbers and not having
I don't
taken
think so,
into
Beej.
account
I think
the
it
number
looks
of
like
properties
tonight. I
that
mean,
have already
265
sold and what's
votes.
even eligible to
It's at
participate in any
51%
of
to
this.
48,
Frankly, I'm
52 to
appalled
48%
that we have
Tuesday,
as many
tonight.
questions as we have to do, and we couldn't even get an accurate answer.
So it's a
when we
4%
asked
difference.
for it. So theoretically, I am
pretty
not
solid.
opposed to sending it back to do the work because
I
it
guess
is
we
this important.
we go live tonight.
But I need a commitment that it's going to come back fast.
We will, I think the committee chair is committed to that, and I'm committed to that as chair of this body. Councilmember Nazarian?
11 months.
All right,
They're
so
still
we'll refer
ticking
that
around.
to Budget and Finance, the committee, the written.
If it was their
the written
fucking houses,
amendment,
they'd have it
Park
done in
Nazarian.
11 days or less.
Madam Clerk, what's next?
11 hours. These fucks.
Next would be the vote
Ain't their
on
shit.
Whether
I did,
to,
Beach. I did.
Actually, next would be
There's only
Amendment
26 votes, I think, on that side.
23C, and that was Amendment Rodriguez-Yaroslavsky.
And can you just give us briefly what the content of that is?
Yes. This 23C, it was misstamped A because
you
on
guys
the
are idiots.
agenda, 23A is the ad hoc recovery report. 23B is the Budget and Finance Committee report. So
The reason she's not pale and you notice a little
23C
difference in
really,
color is they've put in new lights, apparently.
Councilmember
All
Rodriguez,
LED lighting. He was saying it earlier.
Yaroslavsky amendment.
So it's affecting the way their cameras
stamped 23A.
shoot it all.
But anyway, the amendment requests the city attorney to revise the draft ordinance dated June 20th, 2025 to include any property owner who utilizes the fee waiver be required to reimburse the city the fee waiver amount if the property ownership is transferred within 60 months of completion of construction.
Councilmember McCosker? Councilmember Nazarian? Councilmember Park?
I just think, Council President, if we are going to send things back to committee, it all needs to go back to committee. We can't be ad hocing this, piecemealing these decisions. This really needs to go and be considered as a comprehensive package of relief for our disaster victims. I would just ask that it all go together and come back together.
What about the fire aid money? Where's that?
Okay.
They all love you
Madam
so much.
Clerk,
Where's the
what's-
fucking fire aid money? You fought for them so hard. Tell me where
So
that's
for
at.
the record, 23C is referred to.
You're the
Budget and
freedom fighter
Finance,
for the
and
people. Show me where the money
clarification
went.
is the whole matter.
We know where it went. Let's see if you have the
23,
balls to say
referred
it.
to Budget and Finance Committee. Okay.
That's the request.
Okay, so the 23, the entire matter is referred to Budget and Finance Committee.
Mr. Blumenfield?
Why don't we at least move forward on the waivers?
I would second that.
I mean, we have the amendments to look at, which makes sense, but the Budget and Finance report, as I mean, we can delay it, but I would think we want to at least move forward on something.
Yeah, I would say, members, the thing that there seems to be universal agreement on is at least what is in the Budget and Finance Committee.
I don't even think it
there are
went
lots
there.
of us who want to add different
Shall.
things, but I think we can dispose of that part of it today.
Went to the NGO ran by that
Madam
cunt
Budget Chair,
bitch.
I will defer to you because this is your committee work that's going to be impacted here.
I'll leave it at that. Another DEI
I think
hire.
that that's
Mics
fine.
don't work.
I mean, what we're voting on today is asking or
Clowns.
directing the city attorney's office to draft the ordinance. So it's going to take them some time to do that anyway, as we know. So if we can hear the amendments in Budget and Finance and get some cost estimates of what we're talking about in terms of the delta on top of the 86, then we can come back and vote on the amendments in a couple of weeks, and that can inform the drafting by the city attorney's office. I don't think this actually is a problem in terms of timing.
All right.
But they can get started if we vote on it today, in the Budget and Finance
Yeah, it's
Committee.
52 to 48.
All right, Ms.
Pete. It
McCosker,
looks
you're
like we're
still
doing
on the
the show
board
tonight.
here? No? Councilmember Park?
Councilwoman Yaroslavsky, I hear you, but then aren't we giving incomplete instructions to the city attorney? We're going to get an incomplete ordinance. then's gonna have to be amended and slow everything down again and again. We have until January.
That's how you
7th
DEI hires
to
do
our
it.
Bailey.
So, do you want to send it all back to committee? Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, in the meantime, no one's paying any fees, though, right? And the question is whether or not they have to pay back fees, and no one has that certainty. And so, I'm sorry. So the
Drama.
question is whether or not we want to have some certainty and some parameters around some of the universe that we're talking about. And that's a question for you, Councilwoman. Do you want some certainty and then we can add in additional? Or do you want to have no certainty for the time being, and some people may be liable to pay back some of these fees if they end up not being included in the universe on what we adopt?
Because we're not collecting the fees, I am comfortable waiting until we have a package based on accurate and complete information and cost analysis that looks at the various alternatives that we've included, so we can assess a complete picture and then give clear direction to the city attorney and get one ordinance back one time and send these folks on their way.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to committee.
All right, I see lots of thumbs up and no speakers on the queue.
I ain't got nothing to
sliver
say
of
because I'm
agreement
just
has
here because
emerged.
I'm here.
So we'll-
Give my
we will
money.
go
I'm
with that.
here,
Madam
ain't
Clerk,
I?
what's before us?
So the entire matter of 23 is referred to Budget and Finance Committee. So council has, next item is 24, and that was called special by an amendment, and that is Amendment Soto Martinez Hernandez.
All right, Councilmember Soto Martinez.
Thank you so much, Council President. I know it's been a long day, so appreciate everyone's patience. I submitted an amendment to item 24A that I think is important that we should all think about, because this item is about the city complying with AB 481, a law that was passed in 2021
It is,
after
Billy.
the George Floyd uprisings.
Oh, God.
And if we remember at that time, there was a huge outcry about the use of military equipment in response to the protests. Now, to remedy
I had
this,
no problem
the
with it.
state passed AB 481, which says that we are required to review the city's use of military equipment and approve it only if certain legal standards have been met. The law says that we should only approve military equipment if all of the following are true.
Shoot on sight.
One, that there is no reasonable alternative to achieve officer and civilian safety. Two, that the equipment will safeguard the public's welfare,
Yes, Gus.
safety, civil rights, and civil liberties. And three, that prior uses complied with approved military equipment use policy, and if they did not, then corrective action has been taken. If one of these standards is not met, we as a council have a duty to withhold that approval. Now, over the past few months, we have seen documented, verified evidence of military equipment being used in ways that should make everyone here on this body pause. A 40-millimeter round shot at journalists in peaceful protests exercising the First Amendment rights. Tear gas deployed against our own
Thanks,
residents,
Space.
unlike anything we've ever seen in decades. And in one single day, on June 8th, according to LAPD's AB 48 report, which is a separate law, we saw over 1,000 projectiles fired at about 6,000 people,
Aye.
including 20 rounds of chemical agents.
Aye.
In recent months, we've watched this equipment deployed in ways that echo the same
Yeah,
intimidation
he's right.
tactics
40
we
millimeter
condemn in ice
non-lethal
raids,
foam
tactics
round.
that erode trust and violate basic rights.
Not wrong.
Our residents should be able to express their rights without being met with rubber bullets or tear gas.
Aye.
This is not a response to a few bad actors.
Stay out of the streets then.
Now, in public safety report,
breaking
there
shit.
were many types of equipment that clearly serve legitimate purposes in the city. There's specialized tools for bomb squads, equipment's used to save lives during critical incident. But AB 481 doesn't say that we have to approve everything or approve nothing. The law requires us to evaluate each category of equipment on its own merits. And when one category fails to meet the statutory standards, we are required to vote no. My amendment is narrow
That's
and
it,
specific
Gino.
to only
That's it.
restrict 40-millimeter projectiles and tear gas, two pieces of military equipment we've seen widely abused with no corrective action. Colleagues, AB 481 was passed in a moment in history where as a society we were making progress about how we deal with protests and how we police. My amendment is about following the law, protecting civil liberties, and ensuring that military-grade equipment is used only when it is necessary, lawful, and consistent
You
with
deem
the
it
values of the
necessary?
city.
Till
I'm
everything's
urging
burnt?
this council to not go backwards. And
Hopefully
that's why
they
I'm
burn
asking
your
for a
house
yes
next.
vote on my amendment,
Then we'll see
24A,
when
that
the
again
military
is
needs to
narrowly
come.
tailored to projectiles and to tear gas until we can find out more about how this is being used on our city streets. So again, I urge a yes vote on 24A. Thank you.
Aye. Thanks for the
Councilmember-
crying.
Thank you, Mr.
And
President.
they used this and they
colleagues,
used that.
It's always my fear that
They did this and they did that.
non-lethal weapon, non-lethal munitions, that our officers, when put in harm's way,
They're talking
don't
about
have
foam
alternatives to turn
rounds.
to besides
Foam
lethal
rounds.
uses of force.
That's what they're
which
talking
is
about
something
right now.
none
Not
of us
bullets,
want
foam rounds.
in the city. I was wondering if believe the chief is
You
here
know,
somewhere.
FOAM.
Chief, do you mind, and city attorney, join us at the table?
Oh, great. Here we go. Now they brought these dildos in. Oh, look, it's the knee bender himself, the chief. They're demanding for him to resign. And I don't think he's been here. I don't think he's been here 10 months
Thank you,
yet.
Chief, for joining us.
And they're already demanding his resignation.
What sort of
these protesters.
operational impact would this have to the LAPD to remove these two items? If you could give us sort of an explanation, or maybe also instances where we've had to use them and why they were used.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this, and to me, this is amazing that we would be entertaining this. A 40-millimeter projectile is used every day to be able to deal with people who have edged weapons, people who have shards of glass, people who have weapons and coming at officers or coming at some resident, to be able to protect them. It's a de-escalation tool, short of using deadly force. The last thing we want to use is deadly force. Taking a tool like this away from us puts us in a very bad position relative to city liability and relative to
Raise those shootings,
protecting our
real
officers
shootings.
and the public that we serve. I can't believe that you're going down this road, to be very honest. And gas that you also put in the supplemental, gas was used in June at a point where protesters had taken down awnings, backed them up with water barriers, and were using PVC pipe to shoot commercial-grade fireworks at our officers on a skirmish line. That's deadly force, potentially. We tried to use less lethal, 40 millimeters, 37 millimeters, other tools to be able to stop that assault. It was not effective. And so in an effort to de-escalate, a chemical agent was deployed and was extremely effective and prevented things that none of us would want to have happened that day happen. So when I look at this, my hope is that we have an opportunity to be able next time to educate members of the council, members of the public, as to what these tools do and what they don't do, rather than be swayed by emotion or swayed by the loud voices of a relative few. We're here to protect 4 million residents of Los Angeles and all the visitors who come here. We're in a position where we're going into the World Cup and the Olympics and Paralympic Games right around the corner. To take away tools, particularly tools that are de-escalation tools, at this point is, to me, a head-scratcher.
Anything else, Mr. Lee?
Just, Chief, if I know you have the city attorney here, I was wondering if they could weigh in on this issue at all.
It does look like
Yeah,
T.J.
if I
Hooker a
could
little
before, my ask today is, and that's really why I'm here, that you give considerable thought to this item and that you approve the renewal of the ordinance without that amendment. This has to be completed today, or we lose the ability to deploy the equipment that I'll delineate here just for the sake of the public that hasn't had an opportunity to read this. Definition of military equipment as covered by AB 481 includes all armored vehicles, so our Bears and Bearcats that we use every single day to put this tool between the public or officers and the suspect.
Our country affords you the right to have a weapon.
It saved lives beyond what I can describe here. Intermediate force options such as the beanbag, the 40 millimeter, the 37 millimeter. 40 and 37s are foam projectiles used to be able to de-escalate a situation short of deadly force. It includes also mobile command post trailers, which we deploy routinely to disasters, sporting events, and community events. And again, we have these major events, worldwide events coming to Los Angeles in the next couple of years.
Guns here to control
The 40 millimeter gives us a tool to be able to deal with people with edged weapons. It creates a standoff distance. We use it in crowd control, but it's target specific for assaultive behavior.
Harder to control people
and it
when
is truly
everybody's
a
got a gun.
de-escalation tool. On the CS gas, I mentioned
Nobody has a gun,
that is
it's
well
easy to
a
swoop you up.
de-escalation tool, as we saw in the unrest we saw in June. We're asking our police to do an incredibly difficult job with way too few officers, and now we're looking to take some of the tools that they have at their disposal away. To me, this is incredibly uninformed public policy to go down this road, acting on the perspective of a relative handful of activists rather than the safety needs of all Los Angeles residents, to me is short-sighted. To my knowledge, there is no other city in California that has their tactical equipment options limited by a body such as this. I have not seen it yet. Taking away less lethal use of force options, de-escalation tactics, reducing tactical options will result in increased liability for the city and, more importantly, additional risk of injury and death for officers and community members alike. The supplemental amendment would be detrimental to the safety of LAPD officers and the residents of LA who rely on the LAPD to protect their lives and property. LAPD officers will always put themselves in harm's way to protect the public. Not providing the tools to provide for their safety from where I sit is unconscionable.
Thank you, Chief.
You know
Mr.
me, I have a lot of
Lee, I
confidence.
just wanted you to
I'm
wrap
back
up because we're almost at 2
Sure.
o'clock.
The reason he got the job is because
I
he knee
I
bended
hope
all of these folks.
You're really thinking about what we are
If he
about to
didn't
do
knee bend, he
here.
would have never got the
We're
job.
about to take a tool away from LAPD that they use to de-escalate situations when they're put in situations where we don't want them to only have lethal force be able to turn to.
Yes,
we
you
don't
do.
want them
So you
to
can
have to
blame them
turn
for
to
more
their
shootings.
sidearm in
Absolutely you
situations
do.
where someone's
You
coming
see,
after
they're
them
killing more
with
people
a knife
now.
or some sort of sharp object. These are tools you use in situations like the one in June, where they're being commercial grade fireworks shot at them. What do the officers turn to other than that use of lethal force to protect themselves from bodily harm?
This guy works for them.
And that's when they use.
That's
I
his boss.
know that the LAPD does not just use gas
him and the
whenever
mayor, all these guys
the
are there
situation.
as his
Only
boss.
when the situation warrants it. So I hope before you vote, you really think about what we are doing here. If we are limiting LAPD's ability to respond to keep not only Angelino safe, but to keep our officers safe as well. And I urge a no vote against the amendment and yes on the overall.
Tell that to the people who
Thank
have
you,
their
Mr.
houses
Lee. Councilmember
invaded,
Votado.
home invasion.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Can't believe you're saying what you're saying.
Chief,
out
first
loud.
and foremost, I recognize the goal the department wants to achieve with crowd control and dispersal. I also know the challenging conditions officers face when having objects thrown at them. And at the same time, I have great concerns with the use of CS gas because of the well-documented science about the effects on people, including those that are in the immediate vicinity. I have a few questions. I'll try to go through them as quickly as possible. Number one, Chief, tear gas is banned for use in warfare under the Geneva Conventions because of its well-documented ability to cause respiratory failure, chemical burns, and long-term health damage. If it's too dangerous to use on enemy combatants, can you explain why you believe it's appropriate to use on Angelinos?
Yeah, CS gas is different than what you're addressing there, is
Exactly.
my understanding. We use this, it's used across the nation. It's a generally accepted crowd-controlled tool. We use it only as a last resort to be able to restore order. People in the environment you're talking about, dispersal order has been given. People have been given time to leave the area. They've given a direction to travel, and we do it over and over again, and sometimes in multiple languages. People have an opportunity to leave that environment. Only when officers and other people in the environment are being violently assaulted would we consider the use of something like a chemical dispersal agent.
Don't tell her that,
Thank you.
Dr. Meems.
I will say
She's a
sometimes those
dummy.
moments happen quickly because I was at one of the protests just watching what was happening, and
You couldn't
a
breathe?
dispersal order came in and it wasn't very clear, but they had everybody running. By they, I mean LAPD out of the area. So I know there's a lot of work on, but I just wanted to mention that.
I know, you could run
Number
out of
two,
the
tear
area.
gas spreads through wind drift ventilation systems and carries into homes, businesses, and into the lungs of children and elders. What's LAPD's scientific basis for claiming you can deploy a chemical weapon with any kind of precision in dense urban neighborhoods like ours?
We only do it when our officers and the public is being assaulted and there's no viable alternative to it.
So this is, then it's not a de-escalation tactic, it is a crowd-moving tactic, right?
It's a de-escalation tactic for people in the environment after they've been ordered to leave the environment and continue to assault officers.
No, she
Otherwise,
wasn't
we
done
move
yet.
a skirmish line through to be able to move people out of there. We would not use gas.
Understood. But I also want us to be careful on how we use de-escalation, because the goal of de-escalation is to reduce the tension of a situation and trying to reduce harm from happening. But tear gas is not reducing harm, it's inflicting more harm. And also the rubber bullets, like those are inflicting more harm. I've seen cases where people's testicles have been blown off, their fingers have been blown off.
Fantastic.
And this is serious.
It's serious, but we use it as a de-escalation
They
tool.
asked them 10 times to get out of there,
The alternative
more.
to taking
They didn't
less
go.
lethal away is not something that we want to go to
Get
as
it,
a
it's
city.
your way or the highway,
I would
bitch.
say it's a crowd control tool. It's not de-escalation because,
Well,
again, de-escalation is,
Here's deadly force, here's less lethal force. That's a de-escalation tool.
that's just using a different tool that doesn't kill somebody. That's not de-escalation. De-escalation, you're trained in de-escalating situations, as many law enforcement officers are. So it's a tactic. It's a work of art.
Telling her
What
how
you're using,
she's
a
telling
gun
him how
that
to
can kill
do
somebody
his
versus a
job.
rubber bullet. That's just a different tool, and we got to name it.
Bro,
that.
we
It's not
didn't know how to
result
eat
is
hot
different,
dogs. We'd
Councilmember.
go to
That's
you.
why we use it, because it de-escalates the situation where you're not using as high a
Fuck.
level of force and being able to get compliance.
We can agree to
What do
disagree.
you know
on that.
about copping?
Number three, Chief, I want to understand
What
exactly
do you
what
fucking
LAPD
know?
believes it cannot accomplish without
know
chemical
about
agents
eating.
and 44 millimeter launchers.
Obviously.
So please walk
You're
us
an expert.
through this in detail. What specific measurable public safety outcomes become impossible if these weapons are no longer authorized? By that I mean, what concrete tasks can your department no longer perform without tools that are internationally banned in warfare, medically documented to cause permanent injury, and historically used to suppress First Amendment activity?
So are you talking the 40 and the gas, or are you talking everything in 481?
40
he
in the
used
gas.
to be the sheriff. He was the only one who never got reelected.
Bottom line is that if you take away less
Lost
lethal
his
tools,
re-election.
what alternatives
Became
are
the
left for
LAPD
the
chief.
officers to protect themselves and the public in the field during a violent encounter? I don't know if you've been at these violent encounters and looked at it from where the officers
your
stand.
voter base is violent.
It is very difficult situation, and they try, and I'll
And
tell
they're-
you, during the
they're
recent
stupid.
unrest in June, the level
Dangerous
of resilience, the level of their ability to be able to withstand what they were doing was admirable. And I look at the work that was done out there, and we have become a model for the rest of the country for handling crowd management and crowd control situations. We take this all very, very seriously. We don't employ any tool or tactic without giving considerable thought to it. I would invite you to come along and look at what we do and get educated on the issue that you're about to vote on. I'm happy to do that. I have a standing invitation to you on a ride-along and to see anything we have in the department. I think
Your
it would
ass
be
in
very
there.
helpful.
Can you fit in a
Thank
car?
you for that
Can you
opportunity.
fit in a cop car? If you can,
now,
let's get you out there.
my
We'll
ask
put a
was around
trailer.
any
We'll
data.
put
Do
you
you have
on the
any data?
trailer. You can
And
roll
also,
around in the
can you
back.
please tell us
Data on what?
on the efficacy of using these tools?
Right now, from here?
Well, you can come back. I'm asking you for data. If you don't have it now, you can come back.
I'm happy to meet with you and
Okay.
give you whatever data that we can provide that would make sense. I can tell you from an experience standpoint that the tools you're talking about de-escalate a situation and limit any damage to an individual in that environment. That's the reason we use them. The last thing we want to do is use deadly force. So the intermediate force options that we have
Immigrants
pursuant to
did, cat
481
lady.
here
Immigrants
are a tremendous lifesaver
Illegals
for
voted for
officers
her.
and the public alike.
Understood.
And I'm happy to show you that.
Anybody
any day
can
of the
vote
week.
here.
Yeah, no,
You
I
don't
think
need
it would
an
be great
ID,
for all of us
just
to
go
hear
in
since
and
we all
fill
have
out
to
your
vote on
ballot.
it. And last question, Council President. Now, after the raids, after the first few protests that were occurring, some of us met with the Board of Police Commissioners, and they talked about how there was maybe over 60 cases that were being identified of overuse of force. And so when you say that these tools or weapons are model for the rest of the country, that concerns me, because we're about to start receiving all those lawsuits. And lawsuit payouts for LAPD are one of the highest that we experience as a city. So if the model that people are mirroring is one where it's going to cost their city budget a ton of money, then I think we need to reconsider.
You talk about complaints. We're an organization that takes a complaint anytime anybody makes an allegation that something may be misconduct or worse. We take every complaint, we investigate it fully, we do use of force reviews and investigations, and then adjudicate them in a way that has been replicated not only nationally but internationally. And we have been the model for that for about 22 years now.
That's what they want,
So when we talk about these
That's
things,
what their side is
I
about.
take them very seriously, because we put a tremendous
Lawlessness,
amount of effort
begging,
over many
decay,
years into
filth.
ensuring we do the best job we can for the residents of Los
Democrats
Angeles.
love that.
That is recognized by other experts in the field who look at this stuff every day. And I would love to educate you more than has been done in the past about the issues we're talking about today. We're talking life or death here on the decision you're about to make.
100%, and it's 2025, and I'm sure you're an expert in this, that there's other tools that can be used that don't blow off people's hands or maybe cause them to go into an asthma attack. I'm sure.
I'm happy to
I'm
show
sure
you
that
what-
there are other things that we can
Are
look
you
into.
sure? Yeah.
And
I'm happy to show you what are available out there. We go and meet with manufacturers and vendors around the world to look at what is out there, to constantly evolve to be better than we were yesterday. So we're well aware of what's out there, and we use the tools that work best to try and achieve the goals that we have set, and that is to provide the safest city for the residents of Los Angeles that we possibly can.
I hear you, and also, though, we need to be fiscally responsible. And if the tools that we're using are causing us more fiscal uncertainty, then we need to reflect. And that's why we're asking for this motion, so that we're not...
That to me, I can't put those
And that's
together.
okay. That's why I'm saying we're
about-
gonna agree to
we're-
disagree.
You're trying to put a price on saving lives. We're saving lives. And yes, we're going to get lawsuits. Yes, we get complaints and we investigate them and we deal with the lawsuits. But at the end of the day, we're in the safety business, trying to protect people and our officers as well. And
Sir.
so to try and take what we're talking about here and talk about the fiscal realities the
Notice
city
how
is
she
facing,
never takes
two separate
responsibility about the
conversations.
protesters.
It's not, sir, because
and what they
I sit
do.
on Budget and Finance Committee.
Never. Yeah.
And in like a span of 3 weeks, we had like 3 different cases where it was over $10 million
Yeah.
for each of those cases. So you can't separate them in a city where the tax dollars are dealing with the lawsuit,
Yeah.
not just the department. The taxpayers are dealing with the lawsuits.
Yeah, I understand
No
that.
accountability on
Thank you,
We live-
Councilmember Hernandez. I got Councilmember Soto Martinez, and then we want to bring this issue to a
God, fuck
decision.
Joto Martinez.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I just want to be clear to my colleagues. I think there was a misrepresentation of what I'm trying to accomplish here. It's not about taking away tools from LAPD to use less lethal in cases when they're confronting someone with a weapon. And even if we were to vote on this and take away the 40 millimeter and the tear gas, police officers still have FN 303, they have distraction devices, tasers, beanbags, 37 millimeter, and pepper spray to de-escalate that situation. So even if we were to take it away, let's not fall for the argument that all of a sudden they have no tools. That's simply not true. The issue that I'm trying to get to is how this city is being perceived in the moment where folks are hitting the street to protest against the authoritarian federal government and the rise of fascism in America, and how we as a city are acting. And the two places, Chief, where I find issue, and I've made this many times in the last few months, is how we are using the 40 millimeter and the tear gas. And when I'm guided by whether this is correct or incorrect, I'm looking at AB 48. AB 48, a law that was passed that says how we use kinetic projectiles, in this case, the 40 millimeter or the tear gas. And I know you're familiar with this.
LA County supervisors vote to ban
And the law literally says
face coverings for
that
law
these can
enforcement.
only be used when de-escalation tactics or other alternatives to force have been attempted. This is not a
But
de-escalation.
federal law
Using 40 millimeter
trumps
should not
state
be
laws.
viewed as a
It don't matter.
de-escalation
They'll still have
tactic.
masks.
It should only be used when de-escalation has failed.
No, it's a continuum.
Sir, I'm reading the law.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. He just said go ahead.
Second of all, AB 48 says that using the 40 millimeter projectiles, it's target specific. That it is up to the police officer to identify the person that is causing the so-called violence or threat to violence, and that person can be hit with the 40 millimeter projectile.
Right.
I find it hard to believe that on June 8th, we shot over 1,000 of these projectiles to 4,000 to 6,000 people. That is not target specific. I make that argument.
Great.
How is shooting 1,000 projectiles to 6,000 people on June 8th target specific in the lawful use of projectiles based on AB 48 of state law?
Yeah, the number you're quoting there is not 40 millimeters, it's total. 37 millimeters and 40. 37 millimeters are skipped off the ground. Yeah, you may roll your eyes, but...
What was 600, one was 600, the other one was 400. I mean, we can start parsing the numbers, but tell me how we're following AB 48.
Hey, you voted for him, idiot. You voted for this guy 8 months ago.
Target many of those projectiles. And you're in a very kinetic, very chaotic, very violent environment. And officers, we have body-worn cameras that you could look. If you care to come and see how we do business, we're happy to show you. And show you what we do, how we train, and the safeguards we put in place to ensure that we are following the law. We take great pride in our ability to be able to do our job. So for you, without coming to see what we do to make these kind of charges, I'm troubled by that.
Well, I think I speak for many people in the city of Los Angeles that are troubled by the way we have been responding to peaceful protests.
Yeah, I'd be
and I understand there's different varieties of opinions here, but I got to speak for my constituents, the folks that I've talked to, a lot of them,
Waymos,
who say,
busting
why
windows,
is LAPD
death to America written
and it's
everywhere.
eroding trust, and it's eroding faith in our system.
The
other part of AB 48
because it was by his people.
Officers shall minimize the possible incidental impacts of their use of kinetic energy projectiles and chemical agents or bystanders to journalists. When we see on live television a journalist shot by another, appears to be a 40 millimeter or the skip round, but I believe it was a 40 millimeter. How can we say that we're following AB 48 when it was on live television?
Happy to show you that.
I think we all saw that.
If you care to see, I'm happy to show you.
If you care to see
what we have on that. There's more to that story than what you presented here. We do not target media. We do not target police officers who also get hit in that environment. It is often very, very chaotic, and a lot of things are going on at once. We had 52 police officers injured in June in the unrest that we saw here. Not a lot of talk about that.
Injured.
They were there in that environment, and some of them were hit with 40s, some of them were hit with 37 millimeters, not because they were aimed at, because they were in that environment.
So, you know, when this item came, I'm sorry we didn't have this discussion in committee, Mr. Lee, but after looking more into it and folks coming to us about this vote, we looked into it, and I just feel like we have to, I as a person, have to take a position and say, do I believe that we as a city are using the 40 millimeter and the tear gas in the correct way? And should we reauthorize that based on AB 481? My answer is no.
Nobody cares what your
I don't
answer is.
think I'm going to be in the majority here, but we
nobody
have
gives
to
a
have this
fuck what you
conversation,
think.
Chief.
I'm happy to have the conversation.
Well, we're
and
having
as I
it now.
mentioned,
We're having it in the public.
The
and
invite
I'm glad
is
that
open.
you're here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're here answering, because I do not believe in the instances that I've seen in the reporting that has come out and the lawsuits that are now piling up, that we are using these two pieces of equipment in the correct way.
Okay.
And so I hope folks can see it that way and vote yes on the amendment. And again, it doesn't limit a police officer's ability to, in situations when they're confronted with someone with a weapon. I mentioned all the different tools that they have.
His title is
this is not an issue it's not going to go away. The federal government is going to continue to snatch people off of our streets. People will hit the streets in protest, and we're going to have to make a decision as a city how we interact with people who are rightfully upset about what's going on in this country, and we have to do better.
We oversee, we manage hundreds of protests a year, peaceful protests, where this is not an issue. The exception is when we have violent demonstrations, violent actions. That's where we talk about these tools at all. The vast majority of the demonstrations we deal with across the year are extremely peaceful. We meet with the organizers, no issues.
And I agree with that, Mr. McDonald. Most protests are peaceful. And the protests that have marshals, people from the organization that are themselves policing themselves, almost 100% have no incident, which is why I introduced a motion to talk about doing that and trying to create that system in the city. And also, when there is coordination between the organizers of the march and LAPD, usually, about 100% of the time that I've seen, there's no incident.
Right.
And so I agree with you that it's a very small number of instances where this happens, which is why I introduced the motions to look into that, and I hope we can work on that as well. But we have to do better. And in the absence of having either a graded response, like New York and Boston, or an alternative system of people self-marshaling themselves, which I would love to see both of them, we have to do something. We have to do something. And the thing I'm focusing on is, again, the 40 millimeter and the tear gas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're happy to work with you on anything along those lines, anything where we can develop relationships where we don't have them with the organizers of demonstrations. We're all in on that. What we're looking to do is maintain the tools we need to keep our people safe and the public safe. Yeah.
I understand. I thank you for the public discourse on this.
Thank you, Mr. Soto Martinez, for this discussion, and thank you, Chief, for showing up today. I just want to add this before we vote. One, I want to thank Mr. Soto Martinez for having the courage to raise this issue and to struggle around it, because it is indeed a struggle. Second, I want to thank you for coming. And then I want to make this request, because I'm supportive of our officers, I'm supportive of the work we do, but this is not an area where there isn't room for great improvement. As a person who's been, so you invited members of the council to be where the police are. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I've been where tear gas is being shot at me. And when tear gas is shot at me and someone looks me in the face and says, well, I just de-escalated, it just doesn't wash. It doesn't match with reality. And then when I confront the department and say, well, you asked me to disperse, I was walking away, and tear gas came on me, and the answer is, well, I could have used lethal force.
That's not the only thing that came on you.
This is not a useful discussion to have, and so I just want to request that as we go forward, I'm sure this will come up again, that we work on, one, how to communicate, one, with each other, but two, have some acknowledgement and some humility that we can do better than we have done.
We always try and do better. Always try to do better, and I'm happy to work with any member of the council or anyone to be able to show what we do, how we do it, what training goes into it. We're wide open on that, so thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Chief. All right, Madam Clerk, we got an amendment before us, and then we got an item.
Smoke.
Yes, Mr. President. So the first vote would be on Amendment 24A, and that is motion Soto Martinez Hernandez.
All right, let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
Oh.
5 ayes, 7 noes.
All right.
That amendment fails.
Fails.
So the next
Council,
vote.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Hernandez.
Sorry, Soto. Sorry.
Is it best to, okay, so
you didn't get back, homie.
The final vote 6 yeses and...
It looks like we need to revote. Councilmember Hutt?
I would like to be...
the old idiot couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out how to vote.
Let's open the roll on reconsideration of this item. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
6 ayes, 6 noes.
To reconsider?
Stop it.
It's just to reconsider, folks.
Okay, so...
Where's Daniel Gus?
Could
Fuck
council
Daniel
just
Gus
clear the votes and just right now
DEI clown show.
Reconsider the vote for 24A?
All right, so 24A,
All right, Mox, I'm
if
ready.
you are in favor of Mr. Soto Martinez's amendment to, if you're in favor of reconsidering so that council members Hernandez and Hutt can change their votes in the opposite directions, thus canceling each other out, you vote yes. If you don't care, you vote no. All right? Let's open the roll on reconsideration. Close the roll.
Don't even know what they're doing. Second biggest city in the entire nation.
12 ayes.
All right. Now, let's open the roll.
You wonder
On
why LA's
Councilmember
fucked
Soto
up.
Martinez's
Bunch of clown
amendment.
idiot tokens. Learning what they're doing right on the job.
Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
4 ayes, 8 noes.
All right.
The amendment fails, so the
There you
next
go.
vote
Still
would be
fucking fails.
just on item 24, and that is the Public Safety Committee report.
All right. Let's open the roll on the Public Safety Committee report. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 2 noes.
And
3
then
no.
the next item would,
Look at her.
As a no vote.
They don't
Just
even know what
record
they're
it as a
doing.
no vote.
They don't even know
Because
what
it
they're
won't
doing.
change the outcome of the decision, so no need to
so
reconsider.
for the record, thank you, council member. So for the record, item 24,
Thank you for telling me I don't do my
the
job.
final vote is 9 ayes and 3 noes. Okay, now, the next few items that is before council is items 29 and 43.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Officer
Shit's
White and Mr.
embarrassing.
City Attorney.
And we used to laugh at fucking Dalton, Illinois, and the township of Thornton.
All right, Madam Clerk.
This shit is 10 times,
next would
1,000
be
times
items
worse than Dalton.
29 and
We just don't have
43,
Tiffany
and
Hinyard
that
here.
was called
We got our
special
own
by
Tiffany
Councilmember
Hinyard.
Jurado for a separate vote.
All right, let's open the roll.
That's our Tiffany
Councilmember
Hinyard.
Jurado.
Right there. That's
Close
our
the
Tiffany
roll.
Hinyard.
Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 2 noes.
All right, what's next?
Next would be item 38, and item 38 is a substitute motion that requires 2 votes. The first vote is the question whether to substitute.
All right, let's open the roll on substitution. Close the roll. Tabulate the
What
vote.
do you need a sword for? What are
12
you
ayes.
scared of? Why would anybody need a sword
right.
unless you're a
The
samurai?
next vote would be on the substitute motion, Yaroslavsky Hernandez.
What are you scared of?
All right, let's open the roll. Close the roll.
Why do you need a
Tabulate the
K-bar?
vote.
12
What are you
ayes.
scared of?
All
And
right.
finally, the last item before council for today is item
Oh,
45.
so a knife or a sword's okay, but not a gun.
All right, let's open the roll on 45.
I hate to break it to you, bud, but let me
Call
break
special.
let me break it to you really quickly. Every single mass shooting you've ever heard of, like real mass shootings, all of them, almost all let's just say almost all of them, a good 85% of them have all started with a gun and stopped with a gun. Whether it by them finishing themselves or somebody finishing them or taking them into custody with a gun and not a fucking K-bar.
By Raman for questions. It doesn't look like she has questions. Let's close the
You
roll.
go ahead and take a
Tabulate the
knife
vote.
to a gunfight.
12
See how
ayes.
that works out for you, bro. Morph. Thanks
right.
so much, Morph.
Mr. President, council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted and referred.
No,
Budget
definitely
committee
not.
will be
That is
held
not
at
Dr.
2:30
Carson.
today. It's been moved
Ben
back.
Carson.
Mr. Lee.
No. That's a brain surgeon. That is a
Forthwith.
moron.
2-4.
That's
2-4 forthwith without objection. That'll be the
That
order.
dude
Mr.
probably
McCosker.
barely graduated high school. He's
4-5
certainly no brain
forthwith.
surgeon.
24 and 45. Kobe and Jordan in the comeback year. Mr. Price.
Mr. President, the
That's nothing to do with being tough. Apparently you're scared just like I am, right?
And jobs.
You're
Jobs and
just as
Economic
scared
Committee
as
will
I
be
am.
meeting at 2:30.
No
Any other
reason you need a
announcements?
sword.
All right, seeing none, I'll ask everyone in the chamber to rise for adjourning motions.
You're just as scared as the people who have guns.
Looks like
'Cause
the
you got a
sun's
sword.
going down already. All right, any adjourning motions to my left? Adjourning motions to my right?
Okay, we don't give a fuck about your adjourning motions. We don't care about you fucking clowns. Go waste your day. What a waste of fucking time. Nothing done. Still didn't get the ban. Ah! So apparently they're still gonna get shot with shit. And I'm agreeing with it. Shoot more at them. Go through all them rounds. You do that. All right, guys. So I guess we'll be on later tonight. So no birthday show. We're going to do the show tonight versus Sunday after I looked at all the polls on both ends. Looks like it won by a decent margin. So, yeah, I'll see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you for the likes, the love, the do-news, the conversation. No thanks to Stinks because he didn't show up today. Keep the notos on, because I'll be here. So I just have to do a bunch of eBaying and post office shit. But other than that, I'll be here. So keep the notifications on in case we get us a chase. Otherwise, I'll see you tonight at 8. Other than that, have a fantastic day. Enjoy some tacos. Bye.
This party is officially over.
Yeah, you guys. I'm a gang.